Yeah, we're still like at this point.
We bank them. So like we might record 2 or 3 in 1 week, but we still release 1 a week.
Yeah,
So, like,
I skipped a week actually, unintentionally. It's just I didn't have time.
Right?
Huh?
Wasn't it when like your like everything that week with your grandma happened?
We just skipped the recording that week, but I also did wait a week because we were running out, and we also like by the time I had time to like edit and upload it, like it was just not gonna be like a great experience for like our audience because it would go like we would get one Wednesday and then have another one right around on Sunday. Yeah. You know, I like to have like at least a week between each one so they kind of got time to marinate.
Yeah.
At least right now. I mean, like, you know, you've heard the content. Like, it's not incredible. I mean, it's good. It's fun. We have a good time.
Oh, there you go. As long as you have fun, man. That's where I am.
It's one of those things where like you need like for me, I like being on a set schedule. Yeah. And like if I can get where I'm uploading these at least a week in advance, like have it set to come out on like a Sunday.
Right.
Then we're
Welcome.
good. Welcome. Do you want to do the welcome this time?
No, I was just trying to get you to cut to the chase.
Welcome, the Shirts Off, Season 3, Episode 21. We're here today with Nathan.
What's up?
What's your most recent episode or show called that you're trying to really push right now? Because there was a couple that I was like, which one should I reference?
Well, there's 2 channels right now. We got the Hill Brothers, me and my brother Alan, North Carolina podcast. We talk all things UNC. We grew up North Carolina fans. Our family on our mom's side is from Hickory, North Carolina. So that's where the North Carolina ties come from. So we've been doing that for maybe 2 years in August, something like that. So,
okay. So the Hill Brothers channel.
Yeah, the Hill Brothers channel. And then the other one's my personal one, which is actually a revamp off of an old channel that I used to have called the NL10 podcast. NL10 podcast, and I think I know the name of my own channel. I might have to double check that, quite frankly. But yeah. So I've been doing podcasts a little bit on there, just kind of feeling it out. And I didn't really know what I was getting into when I did it. I just said, you know what? Something tells me to go do it. I'm going to go do it. I'm having fun over there. So
why NL10?
So this actually goes back to Learn TV. So I had come up with a username YouTube channel, which is the old channel I'm referring to, was NL10 _ off script. Reason for that, 10 is my favorite number, NL. That's
your Instagram, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And the off-script part, so if you guys remember back when I was in Learn TV in this class, I did NBA Take with Tori. So when my time was coming up, it was time for me to graduate. Obviously, we don't do shows once you get out. And I told Tori, I was like, hey, let's continue this off script, if you will. Yeah. And that's where the name came from. It was just kind of generic.
Do you still work with Tori at all?
Oh, dude, yeah. We talk and we have fun. We just played basketball together the other day. We'll get together, we'll play basketball, we'll chit chat. I was texting him a little bit before this. We see each other pretty consistently. At least once every 2 weeks or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm always worried I'm going to see him consistently.
Why?
Because he tries to scare me. Our whole life, like he uses it as like ammunition. He'll be like, just so you know, I invited Tori tonight, and I'll be like, where is he though? And I'm just like on guard all the time. The whole time I was at Learn TV and post Learn TV, when me and Tori were still friends for like, not that we're not friends, it's just we definitely don't see each other like we did when I was working at Learn TV post high school.
Yeah, and
he would like actively like go places he knew I was gonna be to wait for me and scare me. And sometimes it was like random. Like sometimes pre-COVID, like I'd be at Walmart at like 3 a.m. after the gym, and like one time I was at an aisle looking at like soy sauce or something, and I just feel this presence of a person in the aisle with me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna look. That's like rude to just like look at a person. Like
I don't know if I'm feeling the presence.
There's always people. I mean, like I know there's people here, and there's one of those people's here. I don't have to see who it is. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And they just kept getting closer, and at the end of them getting closer, they were getting closer faster. And I was like, whoa, this is weird. And then like they got right up on me, like on my left next to me, and were like looking right at me. And I was like, who the fuck is this? And I just slowly turned my head, and Tori's just like teeth showing, smiling, eyes wide like a lunatic, just like, what's up, cupcake? And then, like, you know, just like horrified me, and then just starts laughing. There's no one there. He's laughing like a lunatic, like a serial killer.
Now that's Tori. Now that's what I'm talking about.
And like my brother let him into our house one time when I was sleeping, and like got him to go in my room to wake me up, like shook me awake, and he's just smiling over my body in the dark, like like all I see is teeth and eyes. I'm like, what's happening? And he's just laughing at me.
Oh my gosh, that would be the worst way to make him wake up.
God, I love Tori. I love him. He just scares me. And I'm pointing at Creighton people. He will just constantly text me like, you know, I was talking to Tori earlier and I let him know where you were going to be today. Like just randomly, like he'll just say stuff like that on the phone or text it to me, or he'll tell me once we've already been at a party.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, every like 11th time, Tori's there. Yeah. So like, I'm always on edge that it might finally happen, and then, you know, it'll be 2 years now, like every super occasionally, and then I'll see him. And I never see him.
It's like you turn around, you see him, and it's like the piano from Michael Myers. Ding!
Literally. You gotta wait, like, for this kind of thing to build up. So, like, every time I tell him, I don't always text Tori and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you know, most of the time, I tell him, and then I just let it ride, you know?
Yeah, you let it, yeah, suspense.
But the punch is, like, he doesn't know when the punch is coming. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's the best part. I think I'm gonna wait like a good 10 years, you know, and then like
10 years,
yeah, and then like
I'm gonna start a show with Tori, but by then, so it won't even matter.
When he least FaceTime, just kind of break the ice. Hey,
yeah,
Tori's gonna be in his bedroom again, and
no,
just like
unacceptable.
Dude, get a giant printout and put it on the inside of his window.
Oh,
opens up the curtains and there's just Tori face.
I don't like this collaboration.
This is a good idea.
I don't like the forming of this collaboration.
Hey, here's the thing. I actually was talking to Tori earlier today. No, as a matter of fact, I thought we were actually all getting together again. We're looking forward to doing that at some point. All of us. Oh, dude.
I would love just a like sit and reminisce about Learn TV podcast.
Oh, dude,
I thought about asking him to come on, but then like looking at some of your stuff, I was like, well, he's kind of doing his own thing, so let's talk to him first about his own thing, and then we can get them both on. And I don't know if Tori's doing his own thing right now either, but like
Tori's doing his own thing in life. He's having a good time.
Yeah,
from what I can tell, and you know we would talk all the time, but he's doing Uber and Lyft. Yeah, he got back into that, and then he was doing. As a matter of fact, we started shouting him out on our podcast, on the Hill Brothers podcast.
Yeah,
he was doing
because he's a huge Tar Heels fan.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons that we clicked so easily back in 2016 now. Yeah. But he was also doing pastries and baked goods.
He's baking stuff?
Oh, yeah, with his mom. And they did this, a company called Nisi's Pies.
What?
And, dude, I'm telling you, sweet potato pie, it's off the chain, literally.
That's
Tori,
crazy.
if you're listening, I need one.
Shout out Nisi's Pies.
Advertising done, finished, give us free pie.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. and that's all we need.
And literally, what was really cool is that we started advertising it, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe somebody, probably not.
Link
sure
potentially.
Enough, they had
really they got
people in Chapel Hill were 3 hours away. Were ordering his pies, and it was awesome.
Damn, because of the advertising on y'all's podcast,
they heard it.
What?
And everything. It was also one of the guys that did it was actually the same guy that gave me and my brother the last game that we went to in Chapel Hill. He gave us free tickets to go to the VIP section. It was awesome
because of the podcast.
Mm-hmm. He just liked it, and we were looking for tickets because it was a special event happening. Our head coach was leaving, historic head coach was leaving, and we were like, man, we got to be at this game. You know, there's no way we can't be at his last game. We got to go.
Yeah, and
we were like, hey, if anybody, because it was really close, we're like, hey, if anybody has any tickets, they're like, I got you. He sent us an email, 2 tickets. Come on out here, man.
That's so
and
sick.
It was in the VIP section, free food, the whole ordeal. Oh, it was great. Dude was cool too. He actually ended up being there and sat with us. It was a great time.
Yeah.
So we really.
So did you guys record like there at the game, or you guys just were kind of going for like some research for an episode, or like what like you know?
Well, we had done the pod. Just my brother, he's got a family of 3, so we'll just link up on StreamYard, the platform StreamYard, and we'll do our podcast there. But when we do go, I will do vlogs every time. Really? So any game that I've been to, there is a vlog that is up already. And the last one that we went to was actually in Boston, Massachusetts, at the very last little bit of last year.
Okay.
They had a bowl game up there in Fenway Park. where the Boston Red Sox play. Historic place. It was an awesome experience.
Hell
and
yeah.
being able to go up there and just see all that stuff. And
I've like,
we actually ended up staying overnight in an airport.
nice.
Didn't want to, but it was we had Starbucks.
One of the many horrible things of travel.
Oh, dude!
Unexpected overnight.
You know, I couldn't stand it in the moment. But looking back at it, it's kind of cool because
It's
we were
fun. It's
having
like an experience. Like,
yeah,
all those terrible things in the moment suck, but they're really cool, fun stories to be able to tell.
oh, dude,
like, that
yeah,
happen.
absolutely. And we got Starbucks like 3:00 in the morning, like 5 times. Dude, it was great. I slept on the floor, woke up with people just looking at me.
Yep.
It was great. It was an awesome time. And then we got to Boston in time, all that good stuff.
I was never a fan of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Or soccer, for that matter. And my friend Hannah, who lives in Hickory, her and her husband, they invited me. We met at one of Nick's events, like Nick Merckx's, meetings, or meetups, rather. And I knew her name in the Twitch chat, but I had never, like, been in Discord or talked to her or played video games or anything. Yeah. So I meet her in San Diego. We hit it off. We all become buddies. Find out she lives in Hickory. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. We live, like, relatively close. And she's like, well, let's cut the distance. Me and my husband and you and whoever you want to bring will meet up for a Charlotte FC versus Cincinnati FC soccer game. I go, I I watch that.
Yeah.
I get season tickets the next week, and now I'm a fan. I'm obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Her birthday was March 27th. The home opener of the Cincinnati Reds game in Cincinnati was that day.
Uh-oh.
So we planned a whole trip to go do that. Now I'm into baseball. Now, you know what I'm like? These things that get me into this, like, I can't watch it on TV. I don't.
Yeah.
It does nothing for me. I get so bored. I look at my phone. But take me to the place it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm locked in. I can't do anything. It's like I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. Yeah. Go fuck you, Blue. Like we're just talking shit. Like having. You know what I mean? It's like
my buddy's Phillips like that. He's very much like if you get him there, he's good.
I'll walk in.
I'm 100% the same way, and like I would say. With certain bands too, like you have to see them in concert. Like there was so there's a band that we went to go see. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. I don't listen to their music unless it's in person because like it just something about their music like they don't sound the same. Like and me and Caitlin were actually talking about this the other day, like how the difference between like all the mixing and stuff that goes into like making music compared to like what people sound like now with a lot of music. Not everything, because there are people that are like really talented that can just spew off notes. Matter of fact, what spurred the conversation with me and her was we were watching Righteous Gemstones, and there's a lot of like original songs in that show and some covers and stuff too. But the family in that show does a lot of singing, and like the mom in the show just like it's Caitlin, who plays the mom, is somebody who actually
the singer in Sugarland.
The singer in Sugarland plays the mom. So she like...
I like Sugarland.
She can sing, is the point. You know what I mean? So she'll just pop off a couple bars in like a flashback or whatever.
It's like Rebecca and Ted Lasso. Like she's a legit singer. So every once in a while they'll like put singing in the show so she can sing. And she's like she's a Broadway Tony Award winner.
The popcorn's coming back to fight
you.
You.
Also, fun fact,
dying over here.
Ron Swanson's wife, whose name escapes me.
Megan Mullally.
Dude, the popcorn got him, man.
Megan Mullally. Also, apparently, and I had no idea about this before watching the show, very talented singer. Like, I was watching her singing the show, I was like, that sounds like her voice, but like, there's no way she's just that good at singing. Like, because it sounded incredible. Like, there's a scene where her and the lead singer from Sugarland are singing together, and like they are like harmonizing in a way like without. I mean, I'm sure it's a show, so I'm sure there is like a little bit of editing here and there, but I mean a lot of it's just like raw like voice. So like when you're hearing it, you're like, holy shit! Like I had no idea she could sing, and then like I got to reading up about her, and like she had like a whole past on like Broadway and like coming up in theater, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I had no idea. It's okay. Are you done dying?
Bro, I was dying, bro. I could not speak.
He's got tears in his eyes.
I do. Oh, goodness gracious.
I love it to death.
I had something to say, too. It's like...
Go ahead, say it.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
Don't cough it up, dude.
Megan Mullally. Something about her.
Nick Offerman. Nick Offerman, also very talented.
Yes. Well, so, like, a lot of the time when people, especially in stuff like comedies, like Righteous Gemstone, or Ted Lasso, or It's Always Sunny for that matter. What's the
Yeah,
brother?
they can sing too.
What's the brother's name?
Dennis.
Dennis. I mean, he's a Juilliard, like graduated Juilliard.
Yeah.
For performing arts. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like you have this like crazy, unbelievable dark humor, dirty comedy. And like it's legitimate, like artists. It's not just like a couple of stand-ups went and like made a show. Like these guys are fucking dramatic arts professionals, like doing some of the best comedy of all time.
And I guess you kind of get blinded too by like the character they're portraying.
Right back into the popcorn.
The character they're portraying.
You're a brave man, honestly.
And you don't know like that they like. I guess you don't really like see that talent like front and center because that's not necessarily like what they're trying to achieve with what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like this. Like I think we sometimes. I'd be interested in your opinion on this, Nathan.
Oh boy.
We, the three of us, all come from a TV studio background. Like we started off early in our lives being in the environment of recording studios, editing, all the works, and we probably take it for granted sometimes because it just became like. The way that some people will always know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell because they learned it in school, that was us with editing and, script writing and, understanding that field. And we had a tremendous opportunity.
A good teacher too.
And we had an unbelievable teacher. Even the ones that we may not have liked were good at the teaching aspect of letting us know what we had to do.
And I think
those names will not be said. But
we love you.
We love you all.
We love all of you guys.
Yes, in certain ways. And kisses. He'll never watch.
Charlie meant in completely sexual ways.
That's not what I meant.
Just deeply sexual.
Oh my God. Let me finish making the point. But where a lot of people, you see these YouTubers and creatives making this stuff, and they had to kind of go out of their way to learn it. In certain ways, granted, I mean, it's not like we've, become multimillionaire.
Yeah. We're not
mega
classically
artists.
trained.
We're not classically trained.
I'm not Walter Cronkite. So.
Exactly, but we did have like a secondhand knowledge of a lot of the stuff that most people have to go learn themselves and not totally know. And I don't know if I've been thinking about this a lot, like when I look at myself, is like, did we take that for granted in a way where we are almost afraid to utilize what we, have a like understanding of that other people don't? It's almost like I already know all that. Why would I lean into it?
Yeah.
And instead, there's other people who like Cena, who went and did his thing.
Yeah.
And did it for realsies.
I've been thinking a lot about Cena looking at Nathan because we saw these guys come up. We were these guys at one point.
Yeah.
And now now all of them have like beards and stuff and like are men, and it's like really weird because it's like none of you guys were like boys when we saw you guys because that sounds like really weird. But like you guys were like teenagers.
Well, you gotta remember too, like
out.
high school's that last era of like growing up where, say you're 17 when you graduate, a 15-year-old's like way younger is what it feels like. You feel like you're talking to like a child and you're like,
and it's
I'm
only
a
2
senior,
years,
bro. I'm like I'm a fucking adult now. Now it's like I'm 29. How old are you?
I just turned 25.
Yeah, so 25, 29.
And he said it in a deeper voice.
Yeah, when you were in school, when we were in school, you were like a little kid to me. You know what I mean? And like now I'm like, yes, one of my peers. Another, we are the same age.
I am a man.
Yeah. Look at these men here.
He made his voice deeper when he said it. He's like, I'm 25.
I just turned 25, man. Like, how's it going, man? But you know what I'm saying?
I got a discount on my insurance. I'm 25.
Bro.
In a year, I come off my parents' insurance.
One of the few parents.
Oh no! It's kind of funny. Like I think you're already in my brain for what I was getting ready to go into in my next podcast. As a matter of fact,
what's
you're
your next
talking
one?
about all this stuff. When talking about the old days, being in the studio, kind of taking it for granted, looking back, reflecting. So to be completely transparent right now, I have been out of work since April the 9th. And I'm kind of in the middle of looking for something brand new.
Yeah,
really?
Oh yeah. So it's been an interesting time, but it's also been a time of when I went to Learn TV, I had a great time there. You guys were a part of that. You get to see it. But after that, I went to York Tech and did the same thing, and had another amazing instructor. Sharam was another David.
Was this for broadcast or what?
Yeah, it was for it was the actual thing was teleproductions, but in that that was the overhead of what included a lot. So you had photography, digital photography, editing, video editing. You had lighting, TV lighting, all kinds of different. I didn't realize how important lighting was really until I got over there.
Yeah, and
then we also did short films, music videos, commercials. I acted and had to create those. TV stuff, just like we did at Learn TV, very similar. All kinds of different projects. We got to see cool things, and I went through that, enjoyed it. Towards the late half of my time there, so it's a 2-year program, tech school 2-year program. Mm-hmm. I like tech schools because I'm a hands-on guy. You stick me in a classroom, I'm gonna go nuts. So I went to a tech school because number one, I didn't take school seriously. I wasn't smart enough to get to a 4-year, and when I went over there, I was able to get my hands on stuff immediately, which is how I learned. Mm-hmm. So with that, did all that. Had a good time. Towards the later half, I was dating somebody who was a little bit older than me at the time, about 5 or 6 years older than me, and she happened to be a owner of a jewelry store. So I was trying to play keep up with the Joneses. I'm 19 years old, going on 20. I'm not making but just a couple dollars an hour. Me and Tori working at the UPS store. I'm like, I don't know where the heck to go. So I started putting a lot more time into that and trying to earn money instead of focusing on what I was supposed to. And something got off-railed. And that's what I'm figuring out now. Something got off-railed there, and then I just got fully into, my I guess you can say still my current job. For UPS, I work for them this is year 5 now. Year 5. So, geez, it's been a long time. But I've lost a serious passion through that time, and it's kind of got to a point I don't care.
Yeah.
So, and it's bled into everything else. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. I want to go back to doing something I love. Where did it all go wrong? And I've actually watched some of the projects that I did back in college. And one of the things I'm going to be doing on the brand new podcast, on episode 15 of the NL10 podcast, is we're going to be looking back at, I'm going to be reacting to one of my old mini documentaries that I did on me. Mm-hmm. I did one on me. Tori interviewed me. And we did one on me. He asked me questions about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And it was coming close to near the end of.
That's like self-reflection squared.
Yes.
So it's like a production about yourself. Just kind of
about himself.
Made by himself.
That's exactly right. And so that's something I'm going to be doing pretty soon. As a matter of fact, I probably was going to record it this evening when I got back to the house. Yeah. And it'll go up either tomorrow, day after tomorrow, something like that.
So do you think you'll find the answers you're looking for?
I'm really hoping so. I'm really hoping so. I'm a guy that if my heart's not in it, you will 100% tell.
This is the first. You're one of the first people that I've ever met that's I need to look for answers within myself rather than outside. No, I mean that's what his first. Well, I mean it sounds like it's your first response to solve this, and that's not always everybody's first response.
When I was with you guys in high school. I'm trying to deflect off you, Craig. I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying. I appreciate the compliment.
He says that after not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Literally, we had an hour-long conversation about you need to reflect on yourself, look into yourself, understand who you are.
But what I'm saying
is a whole conversation on the philosophy of stoicism. And he's like, I've never heard of anyone doing this 2 days ago.
Hey, he's just trying to put me over. I'm a very rare guest, so it's he's trying to put me over.
It's not everybody's first answer, is what I'm getting at. Usually people get there. I know what stoicism is. I'm not saying it's the first time I've ever heard of stoicism. I'm just saying, that's not everybody's first answer, especially somebody as young as Nathan. I mean, there's people that go their whole lives without figuring that out. True. You know what I mean? So
I'm not dissing Nathan or yours. I'm just mad that you said those words in that order when we just had a conversation.
For this to be one of his solutions, early on. I mean, granted, 25. I don't know if this is your first answer for this, but if this is
this is the first time I've really legitimately really went after it. I've tried to do it a couple times before and come up empty, but now I'm really no.
You think it's imposter syndrome a little bit, where you lose that love, you lose that.
You got a good point. That's a good point actually.
That was a big problem I had to deal with poker when I went and played a WSOP tournament a couple years ago, and I won this big tournament, and it was amazing. I mean, win all this money, it's cool, it's awesome. I'm feeling like I'm unbeatable in poker, and then for the very next week, I played a big tournament, and I cashed, which was like still a big deal to me. Like I was like, I can't get too ahead of myself and think that I'm just gonna go win another tournament.
Right.
I still want to be able to like know that I can cash in these tournaments, and that was important for me. But then after that weekend, the next tournament and the one after that and the one after that, all these like events I was going to, I was playing reckless. I was letting it get to my head that I won that tournament, and I blow all this money playing in these tournaments and doing all this dumb shit. And I really had to like step back and be like, bro, you gotta remember, like, motherfuckers win tournaments and then never win again. And you could be one of those people if you don't like calm down, reset, and understand the game the way that you already did. You can't think that because you won, you're supposed to now adapt to the fact that you're a winner. Mm-hmm. Like, you won because you knew how to play then.
Right.
All of a sudden, I'm playing different, I'm playing bad. I have to, like, adjust to that. I have to adjust to the idea of how people present me and still be the person that was sitting there that day winning that tournament.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all those layers of knowledge. Poker, I mean, I can't get too into poker because I'll talk for 2 hours about it. But that imposter syndrome set in where I was like, I forgot who I was as a player. I forgot who I was as a person for a while. It took like a year and some change for me to really like be like feel leveled out. It was like a scale tilted where I was like, whoa, I'm my equilibrium's off. I had like emotional vertigo on like my capabilities, like what I was capable of. And I felt I was super in the fucking dark for a while, in understanding like what I was gonna do. And I kind of talked about this when I saw you that day a few months back.
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring that up once Creighton mentioned that because I was like, you know, that was something that was kind of a little impactful to me. I'm not gonna lie, when you did that was kind of woke me up a little bit too.
Yeah,
that actually meant a lot to me. And going back to the
let's say what happened so it's not just so confusing to anybody. Who's listening.
I'm lost.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, and you're also lost?
No, a little.
Okay, so
just like,
it's a smidgen.
So, we're recording this on May 12th, 2025.
Yeah.
I don't remember what day this was that you and me interacted, but
It had to have been back in during the Christmas time because I had a helper with me.
Yeah, so it was probably around December, maybe early January.
Wait, so this is while you were out delivering?
Yeah,
you
this
had
was
time
at
to
Daily
have like
Grind.
a
It was at Daily
mind-blowing...
Grind.
It was
It was
at
at
Daily
Daily
Grind.
Grind.
Sure enough.
So it was around Christmas time that I was kind of coming to this like revelation, like really understood the whole look within thing. Like I was really finally understanding.
Stoicism.
Like, no, stop, Creighton. Yes, but that's not the like fucking jab you think it is, like in a cool way. I was kind of getting to the end of that line of like understanding. Like I had a bunch of resentment in myself about a lot of shit and bullshit for the longest time in my life, like an embarrassing amount of time. I hated Nathan. I hated him, and there was no reason for me to hate him, and it all stemmed from Learn TV. Well, no, you say that, but like for me, you might have thought things about yourself that like people might not like this. I don't know if that's true for you to say well just now, but like for me, looking back, there's no reason that I ever should have had any ill will or feeling. What happened was we were in Learn TV. You came in, and in like 2 months, you were just really good at everything right away. And I think I was just like, I've been here like 2.5 years. This is bullshit. What the fuck? And like I was just being that guy, the guy who gets mad because someone comes to succeeds because of my failures. Not that you were succeeding because of my failures.
I was about to say
you were succeeding, and
you guys were a lot of reason that I succeeded, quote unquote. I guess you could say.
But in my mind, what it really was I didn't feel like, what's the word? Outwardly.
Like you'd use that time wisely?
No. I was not outwardly hating on or negatively expressing my emotions to the things I needed to, and so Nathan became like the lightning rod for that energy. You know what I mean? When in reality, like this is the classic one, and like in no way is a reflection in reality, but like if you're mad at your dad or you're mad at your mom or you're mad at like a brother or a sister, but you're like afraid to tackle that because it could ruin the family dynamic or blah blah blah, you take it out on a coworker, you take it out on a barista, you pick a thing that you're mean to, and
bottle it up and you blow it up somewhere,
exactly, on someone who is undeserving. And for you didn't even know it was happening. I just had this like resentment.
I had no idea this was like any of this was a thing until David
I had
Grind.
no idea until like a year
on.
before.
So let me explain. So Nathan starts coming into Daily Grind, and in my head, the way like we've talked about my mom before, like how I had forgiven her way before I actually like communicated with her.
We were just talking about this the other night too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had already been like, why was I so like shitty to Nathan, and then I started thinking like, does Nathan even know that like I didn't like him? And so Nathan was like this, like you said, this is Christmas. Like you're coming to Daily Grind, what, like 3 times a week at least? Like,
yeah,
all
they
the
had
time.
a ton of deliveries, dude. It was
like
ridiculous.
constantly. And I'm in Daily Grind like every day. So I was in Daily Grind, and like Nathan had been coming in semi-regularly at that point with his helper, and I'd just be like, hey, how's it going, Nathan? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, how's it going, Nathan? Blah, blah, blah. Each time. And then one day I was like, I gotta just tell Nathan all this like bullshit. I gotta like he has to know so that like going forward he knows that like I'm not just being weirdly newly nice out of nowhere.
You want to know a secret?
What?
Okay, so the day that I came in,
I'm scared.
I came in for delivery.
Yeah.
When I came in, you were sitting in one spot, but there was a girl. It was 2 women sitting over the thing. Right.
Okay.
One of them was a girl that I dated, that was on my route, and I kind of still had a thing for her. Right? Wow. And I saw her, and I knew she was on an interview. So I kind of like checked her, and I'm like, is she good? She just kind of gave me like a little nod. And I saw you there, and I'm a little, I come in, I see that I'm a little bit more pumped up, energized, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're emotionally more,
you get a little like, how you doing? How you doing? Start swagging around a little bit.
Yeah.
So I ordered, and then I came over there and talked to you, and you started telling me that I think you was writing something, and that you were working on something, and that you had really been working through some stuff, and I was like, hey man, that's really good and grand, and hey, knock it out, do your thing, brother. And I got my coffee, walked out, and about the time I get out the door, I hear Nathan behind me.
I'm walking outside, and I go outside, and I basically just break down like, hey man, I just want to let you know, like,
I hated you.
I fucking hated you. And I don't. And
you were the bane of my existence.
Yeah, whether you knew it or not, I like had really negative ill will towards you for 0 reason. And I want you to know I don't now. And like the fact that I don't was like a big like mental. It was like in Avatar when he's talking to the guru, and the guru uses the stick to let the chakras flow through the like weird multi-layered pond. Like Nathan was like that first one that let all the fucking shit start flowing down the creek. I was like, I had to like, well, I mean, he might not have been literally the first, but like that was that moment where I was like, okay, I'm now like truly in like the healing, self-healing mode of like understanding that I had some dumb shit blocking me, like not letting me continue life properly.
And it's actually really cool that you did that because you did that, this is what you don't know. Because you did that, there have been a couple of people over the last few months that I have done that with. Because I knew, like, this person, whoever that person may be, You
hated me?
I'm like...
He was gesturing.
Nathan's hated Creighton.
Creighton, you're the next one on the list. We have to talk outside in a little bit, buddy. But, no, I got to thinking about it. Like, I started recognizing that I was doing somewhat similar things. And, like, I'm hating on this dude. They've never done anything to me. Why am I? And I need to get it out. I just need to get it out. And I have done that a couple of times. And it sucks doing it.
It's terrible.
It really sucks doing it. But
the most uncomfortable I've been in the last 3 years was talking to you outside of Daily Grind.
Oh, dude.
I was like, I have to do this.
Yeah. And
this is scary.
No, honestly, I never thought you were mean to me. I never thought that you were, like, off with me. I was completely blind. You could have went the next 50 years and I would have been like, hey, Craig.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Charlie? What's up, dude? Like, how you doing?
Like, let me tell you how this went from my perspective. So, like...
oh, God.
This is hilarious.
This is the good stuff.
So, like, one day, I think you were dropping off a package at his house. And I was like, oh, Nathan, what's up? And you said, hey, and then you went on about
Oh, my God, I remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And so, like, I think I, pick up the package and bring it inside. And we were about to either go see a movie or do a podcast. We were hanging out. We were doing something.
Chilling.
And I said, oh, hey, look, Nathan dropped off your package. And Charlie just goes... fucking hate that guy. And I was like, whoa. I was like, what?
And honestly,
because I had no idea before that either. And I was like, what?
That was like a while back too. That was like not.
Yeah.
It was that honestly. It was enough a while back, but not so long ago. Like probably in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I
said a year.
Him
but
saying that might have been the kind of like flicking of the switch, like of
it
me
just totally
being
came out
adult
of left
enough.
field. It was like. Being like, he just took a bucket of cold water and just washed over me for no reason.
But honestly, that moment was probably the first time I had, like, externalized it in a long time. And so it might have been, like, the switch that started getting my brain going, why do you hate Nathan? wait, why do you hate? Why?
No, that was me asking you.
Yeah,
I was
also
literally
that,
hey.
and I was like, I don't know, just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I was
like,
all
right, cool.
I had
He's
no,
a
I had,
big meanie.
I had no argument. I had no reason, and that was probably a big point. Bro, Ted, you can't have any popcorn.
I went, all right, anyways. And then
Yeah,
we left.
and then internally, I was just like, why do I? Fuck, why do I hate Nate? That's so mean. Why do I hate this nice guy who's always been nice to me? Like, all the memories started rushing back. Like, he never did anything. He never said anything to me. He's just been nice the whole time I've known him.
I'm not saying I wasn't trying to defend you or anything. It seemed like he had a lot to unpack, and I was there for something else. You know?
Grayden was like, it wasn't my place to figure that out with him. That's like a personal victory for
I
later.
like saw the thought
like,
happening, and I was like, well, this is Charlie's journey. Anyways.
Anyways,
We got to catch our movie.
Yeah,
It's
anyway,
time.
let's go see
It's the
Spider-Man.
time.
Yeah, it probably was Spider-Man. It was something.
No, yeah, it had to be
like,
something.
yeah.
Or podcast, like you said.
Dude.
But it was like the middle of the day, so like
It's a hate Nathan for lunch. There you
Yeah,
go.
for real.
I
I
hear
think we
ya.
might have been going to go get food too. I was like, yeah, this is a lot of negativity to bring over this meal.
I just want a cheeseburger.
Could you imagine though? Like, and then I heard about him talking to you, and I had never heard this story before. So
The one that we just talked about.
So
that was the
it's-
first time you heard
yeah,
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You
man.
just told me you talked to him, and
Yeah.
you might have told me that day, and I just forgot. But like just being in your shoes and just doing my job, and somebody comes up to me that I'm like, oh, this is like an acquaintance / friend maybe, and then he's like, I've always hated you, like, and I had no.
And then
good
Nathan
reason
just has to leave and start delivering more
Yeah,
packages. Like,
I got back to
now that I think about it, low-key, I apologize. That's a shitty thing to do in the middle of a work.
No. Honestly, like afterwards, like I was having a good day, but then afterwards, I was having an even better day. I'm like, what is this?
Okay, cool.
Like I just got apologized to, and I don't even know what the heck I
I didn't even
did.
do anything.
I thought
don't
he was
know.
gonna say I had an even worse day. Like after that, like he just ruined my day.
Well,
But no,
honestly,
that's
I
a
got
good
to
way
thinking
look at
about it.
though.
No, I got to thinking about it, and I'm thinking like, I was kind of a dick back in the day, but a lot of it was I butted heads with a lot of people that we worked with.
You never came off as a dick to me.
I'm
granted,
surprised.
me and you never worked really directly with each other. I mean, I
Right.
think I filmed some stuff with you, and like we went to some games and stuff together. But like, I mean, you were always nice. I mean, your dad would come and do stuff with us, and
Yeah.
like, he was always sweet. You know?
Honestly, what it might have been, and this is going to sound silly, but we have like a mutual, like a girlfriend who she will talk about when other girls are around who are like, she's very like Socrates, like she knows herself. When other girls are around and they're like seeking attention, her like guard will go up and be like, I'm the girl that wants the attention. Like, and she's not like
the girl that wants the attention.
and she'll be like, she'll be like, telling stories or she does a lot of stuff. Do you know immediately who I'm
I
talking
have
about?
no idea who you're talking about.
Who's always at the house?
Okay.
So she, someone will come up and she'll be like, I don't know, I just didn't really fuck with them. I'm like, why? And she's like, I think it's because she's also really interesting. Like, she was just aware of that. And I think that for me, at Learn TV at the time, when I was the kid, it was like, Creighton was my friend already, so I know he's interesting. I know I'm competing with him. But then this other, like, handsome white dude walks in and has a ton of energy.
I was a bowling ball with a face.
Dude, you were not ugly. Is that better?
I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day,
You being sweet on me.
I would look at you and be like, "Man, he kind of looks like don't take this the wrong way." I think it's really funny.
He's probably not wrong. I don't know where he's going, but he's probably not
back
wrong.
in the day, you just kind of look like a sloth, because your arms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
yeah.
We would
Yeah.
sing sloth
Yeah.
emotes. I
But
remember that,
now,
actually.
like,
No offense.
it's all evened out. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you've kind of grown into your arms, and like you're.
Yeah, my
You look
arm.
like
You
you
look
look
really
like
good.
you run a sports podcast.
Yeah.
you look like
really
a sports
good.
guy.
But
Are y'all hitting on me right now?
No, I just
Charlie
can't recognize
definitely
Gabe.
is.
You know what I'm saying?
Charlie definitely is. He's like,
No.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Look at his pants.
No,
You see
100%. I had a lot of issues, like posture-wise. I had confidence issues. I had a lot of stuff going on when I was in high school, dude. And I didn't know how to regulate a lot of that stuff.
I mean, to be honest with you, you're like one of the few people. Like, I never noticed. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like some of those people,
Well, you carried it well. You were very
Yeah.
exuberant with your energy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you were always the first guy after us to be like, "I'll host the show.
Yeah,
co-host
I'll
the
do this,
show.
I'll do
I'll
that."
do
Yeah.
any show
That can do
Put me on the
energy.
screen. Put me in. If you need a co-host, I'll be the co-host. You don't want to host, I'll host.
That
Give
can
me the
do
script.
energy like presents a form of confidence that, you just don't see every day. And especially with someone who at that time you were like 16, 17, 18, you know what I mean, coming up. Like, you don't see that a lot with kids because they're still figuring themselves out at that age. They're still, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But
no, that's something I love doing.
So that's why, like, whenever I think back to those times, I don't ever really feel like, well, Nathan was just, bad posture, like, like pimples, all that kind of stuff.
The thing I always hated about that. You know the thing I always hated about that Lowry kid, his posture.
Yeah.
Worst posture.
Like
horrible posture.
You know what's crazy is I was the kid looking at myself, and then we're like, "Your posture sucks. What are you doing?" No, I absolutely love doing that stuff, man, and that's why I wanted. Like, I got in there because of Grayson Kenya. Remember him?
Yeah.
So
does he still do stuff like this, or he kind of like on the out?
I see him pop up every once in a while doing something. I'm not really. I don't think it's like a day to day for him or anything like that. But I just really love doing it. My second day in the class, Tori and Richie threw me on a show. Threw me on the playbook.
Yeah.
And I was just like, trial by fire, you're in. Like, you're getting dunked in the water, brother.
That's probably a part of it, too. It was all of
Yeah.
a sudden this new kid got all this attention, and I was being a girl.
And when you
I got in there, and dude, I didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Well, and you look back too, and now, like, I don't know if you do this, but like thinking back to like those times, you kind of see what they were seeing at that time, because like you don't think about when you're necessarily in that moment about like what they're seeing in you and what they can pull out of you in terms of like throwing you on the show, for instance. Like David and Richie probably looked at you and like you said something or answered something a certain way during the class, and was like, this kid has potential, and we're going to put him on a show that's going to force that potential out of him.
To be honest with you, I honestly have never really looked at it. Now, I've had, like, Tori will say stuff to me, and I know that I feel confident in saying that some of the stuff that we did, especially with, like, the NBA take thing, because I think that was the one thing that I really just stuck my own neck out, and I'm like, no, I want to do this.
Right.
And it caused some tension at first between me and the higher-ups, but ultimately it led to 16 nice, fun episodes that me and Tori got to do, and we had never been able to do something like that, where the guy behind the scenes gets to come out. And
what was the show called again?
NBA Take.
NBA Take. Why was there some tension? Not
just
to be
because,
like digging stuff out. I was just curious.
No. As a matter of fact, and I can understand 100% now, looking back on it, they had never had a show like that before. It was a debate show. It was a legitimate debate show, like you see in like. It was basically
like, why is Jordan better than LeBron?
There you go. It was a
NBA
NBA Take is First Take. ESPN's First Take is just NBA Take. We took the name. As a matter of fact, the first episode was Learn TV's First Take. We had to really scratch that idea.
Yeah.
But no. So they looked at it and they're like, okay, this stuff's never happened before. We've tried new things before. It's never worked. Yeah. And there was skepticism that it would work. Yeah. But they were willing. David was willing to give me a shot. And he says, okay, you got one episode, make something of it. And we made enough of something of it to give me episode 2. And then episode 2, 3, and then after that, he said, just go do your thing. Yeah. And that felt good to me. That really felt good. And people could not stand me in the class. I didn't know this until, I kind of knew it towards the end of the school year. Yeah. But Tori would kind of mention to me, like, we're supposed to be in groups going around, and I'm just doing this. I'm circling everybody.
Always with, you were always with Tori and always hopping from room to room.
I was just circling. Like, I would do a lap before the rotations would happen. Yeah. And it's just like, they're like, why does he get to do that? And, Tori would go to bat for me. And even I would say, like, hey, look, I come in after school, I work hard to get this thing done, because guess what? I'm trying to continue, like, each episode I have to prove it to them that it's worth having.
Yeah. And you're trying to make something of yourself.
Well, yeah.
See, the more you say all this, the more I'm like, fuck, me and Nathan did the same shit.
Yeah. Yes.
We were the first year I went one semester before Creighton, my junior year, because it was a senior year before you got in there.
Yeah, it was.
My junior year, I did the second semester, and then I did both semesters of senior year in Learn TV.
Right.
Excuse me. And the first semester, there was a guy named Markevius working. He had a kid, and so he had to quit working because he had a kid. Mm-hmm. And there's this other young dude, Chris, who I've seen him work other jobs in town, but that last semester of my junior year, me and him ran the control room. We were the only two. Like, every other student that had, like, control room, we just put on the floor because we didn't have Markevius. Chris was the guy who was running the showroom, or why can't I remember the name of this? It's been a decade.
What are you talking about?
The main room.
The
studio.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. So he was the studio guy. So all of a sudden, me and him, I was the best student, and he was the other teacher. He was the not Richie and David. So me and him just took control of the studio and the control room. Me and him ran the control room, just the two of us.
Yeah.
And every student from both classes, when we were filming a show, were in the studio. And so we were just running every single show all day, every day. I was getting notes to stay for second block because he didn't have any kids he could rely on to run the shows in that one.
Yeah.
So we were just running every show. And then so senior year comes along. I still haven't got a job. Creighton comes in. Me and him get a job like the same day. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, it's the fucking big leagues. I earned this. You know what I mean?
I did my time.
I did my time in the control room.
And I just had 1 day, like 1 week of experience.
Yeah. But I will say there was it's crazy when you're that young, like what hinders you. Because like I had such a good rapport and such a good like duo energy with Chris. And he wasn't there senior year. He was gone. Like he stopped working there for whatever, I don't know. I think he just didn't like who we know he probably didn't like.
Right.
And he quit working. And then so I go back in, get the job, and all of a sudden, like, I've got Creighton there who I, like, know, but we're not, like, really friends yet. We really became friends working at Learn TV.
Yeah.
Same with Quentin. Like,
Yeah.
I hated Quentin. Like, for real hated him. Like, wouldn't have pissed on him if he was on fire.
That's
hated
really
him.
funny. He's like 2 out of the friendships he's talking about.
Or like my best friends. Like Quentin and Creighton are like my
him.
best friends in the world. I was indifferent
He's still
to Creighton.
there, by the way. He's still
Quentin's
there.
still
Having a good time.
killing it, just running Learn TV. And I hated him. Breaking Bad is great for a lot of things. One of the things is it's the like great uniter of me and Quentin. I was like, okay, he's got good taste, at least, in TV. And we started talking about Breaking Bad, and I was like, this guy's not so bad. Yeah. And then me and Quentin ended up being, like, what I consider, he's like my best friends. Like, him and Creighton are basically brothers to me.
And both those friendships, the foundations were Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad and Learn TV. Like, spending the time with each other that we had to.
At that time, I had just finished Breaking Bad. Like, I think...
Yeah, both of us. I didn't watch it till it was over.
Yeah.
It was like that was the final season was happening while we were in school.
Yeah.
And like we had 4 or 5 hours post school every day to sit and talk about Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And so
the most nervous I was ever at Learn TV was starting working with you guys after school.
Really?
It wasn't even in the studio because in the studio,
we're not intimidating.
I don't know what it was. I guess it was. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
I'll tell you what it was. It was from earlier. It was we were 17, and you were 13. It was the big kids and the little kids. Like it was the end of that era of our lives where just a couple of years is a giant gap.
Yeah.
I look at you now, like if fucking war started in Lancaster and I had to get a militia together, like you and I are equals. You're my buddy. I'd be like, me and Nathan fucking put on some riot gear, go into the woods. I fucking fight for him. He fights for me. Like I would trust him with my life. In Learn TV, when you started, I'm like, get this little fucking chump kid out of my fucking, get him out of here, man. I don't want to talk to this kid, this little child. Like that's how dumb we are when we're 18. You know what I mean? Like when you're 17, 18, you look at a kid who's 2 years younger than you, and you're like, that's a child. I'm a man. Yeah. I'm an adult now. And now we look at that version of us, and that was a little kid, bro. 18-year-old us was a little idiot kid.
I look at the
and we'll say that in 10 years at the 29-year-old versions of us. I'll look at myself at 40 and be like, that fucking idiot sitting in a living room recording a podcast with Creighton, another child, the two of them, idiots. You know what I mean? Like, stop, we're going to see each other our whole lives.
I look at it the other way, because, like, I remember when we were coming up, we were coming in, and it wasn't like a bunch of older kids that were there. It was one older kid, and we kind of looked at him as, like, like if there's a hierarchy, you would have him probably be like the bottom teacher. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though
like
he's
almost
not
a teacher.
Yeah, almost a teacher, but not
the one
quite
that we
there
almost
yet.
did a YouTube channel with.
Yes.
Okay. I thought so.
So like that whole dynamic is kind of weird because like is somebody who's young enough to understand like the
what we're all going through.
What we're talking about, the references, the jokes, all that shit. But also somebody who has the more like weight of responsibility in the room, you know. And also like at that time, that person was just being given equipment and going and filming games by himself, and then would record over the commentary, which is nuts.
Because he was a go-getter, he was just killing it.
Yeah,
he would record commentary on soccer matches, and I would listen to him, and he would just be like, looking at his phone like, there they go. They got the ball. They still have the ball.
Oh
Wow! Now they have the ball. Like he literally not even. It was nonsense. It was nothing. And then I would look at him, and he would look at me and be like, "Look, they've got the ball. Wow!" like maintaining eye contact with me, commentating nonsense over because he's like, "No one's watching."
You know that is exactly something that drove me, and maybe why you say that Nathan, like, oh, you just went out there and you got after it. I have such a personality of like, I want to improve something. Yeah. Like I see what you have, I want to improve it, and I feel like I can do it. So that's exactly where I was when I came in. I wanted to make better. Like I did one of their shows that they like. Oh, this is our pre-made shows. You just come in, you go put your own topics in there. Yeah. I did
very
that
much
once.
Put you on rails.
Oh yeah, I did that once and said no. And I think this is why me and bosses have always kind of got frictionalized, is because when you put parameters on me, I've got problems. I've got major problems.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna try and break those parameters, not in a bad way though, but because like I believe I can do better. I believe that I can be, and that may be a very arrogant statement. I don't know. Maybe it is. But I feel like I'm
a peacock, Terry. You gotta let me fly, bro. That's Nathan.
To do a sports reference, put the ball in my hands and then let me work with it. If I fail, I fail. But if I succeed, I got the confidence. I feel like I can. Yeah. So that's why I always wanted to come in. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to create something. I wanted to do something new. Yeah. Talk about jobs right now. Something tells me
you're an artist, not a soldier.
Yeah.
The discipline. Like you can have the self-discipline to understand that there's like levels to this shit. Yeah. But like you don't need a corporal telling you what you can and can't do. Right. You need to explore what you can with your own tools.
And even like now, like something tells me like, the career path that I'm supposed to be on is going to be something that I built. Right. A business or whatever. It's going to be something I built instead of something going into. And I can that's what's bugging me. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what that is. Yeah. What is it? I'm sitting here beating my head up against the wall trying to figure it out. But that's where everything came into with Learn TV. And when I got in there, and when I got to where I am now, there is none of that. Yeah. There is no, like, I climbed the ladder quick, but I'm at the top of the ladder. Where do I go?
You're at the top of a short ladder.
Yes. A very short ladder, and I'm like, well, this isn't fun. That ladder looks cooler.
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
that ladder gets viewers.
That's where I was at whenever I left Food Lion. I pretty much, because Food Lion was always kind of like, I'll do this until like I figure out.
Creighton plays jobs like he does video games. Yeah. Once he like plays a game and has everything at max level, he's like, well, this is lame. Yeah. I need a new game to play.
I'm kind of that same way. I just don't hop.
So, and like, I know that I need like money and food and shit to survive. So like, I'm like, all right, well, I'll do this while I work on something else that I really want to do, which has been this. And then lately, like, kind of what I've been going through, especially after my grandma passed away, is like just kind of like, and I think we kind of talked about it with Liam, is like finding that motivation to like still, want to still make things with like without letting the like kind of like the sadness and like the depression kind of make you like clip your legs out from under you.
Right. I see what you're saying.
But now once I got done with Food Line, because you kind of sound like me, but like a chapter behind, like in terms of like the whole being at the top of the job. What?
Nothing.
I got done.
I'm on my Creighton arc.
I got done with Food Line, and I was like, well, I want to do something else. I know I want to do something that's going to free up my time where I can do more with this and do more of the other things in my life that I've just been letting go on the wayside. Because at that point, like, I was doing Food Line to make money, but I was really trying to do this to, like, build something. You know what I mean? Or in just making stuff in general to build something that I can, like, either have to pass down or have to, like, be like, this is what I, like, this is where my heart is. This is where my passion is. And, when I switched jobs, I work like a 8 to 5 now, Monday through Friday, and like it's done wonders in terms of like just a better mental state, number one, and number two, like just having more time to dedicate to the things I wasn't able to do before. Like, I mean, you're in my house right now. Like this house for a year after I got it. Well, yeah, a year after I got it, pretty much just stayed where it was like I brought my stuff in and put it on top of my great aunt's stuff, and that was it.
Yeah.
And he can tell you. I mean, like really, like since I
was wild.
got this new job, a lot of it started to take more of a shape into what I want it to be. That we've been able to do more stuff with the podcast. Like, I mean, we just recorded our first going out from the studio to a different place.
Yeah.
You know, to record.
That's a really cool thing, going on location.
Yeah,
I
going
love
on
doing
location. I really would like to do another big event video. Is just trying to get like the resources
All the moving
together.
pieces is annoying.
It's a lot, dude. I've got it set up now. Matter of fact, Tori was with me the night that it all got put together. Oh boy, it was such a great night. I spent so much money not even knowing I was going to have to. We were going to do a live show in Chapel Hill on Franklin Street, which is like Main Street Chapel Hill. It's where all the action, the shops, the restaurants, everything. And we went up there. We left my house at 8 o'clock. It's a 3-hour drive. Yeah. Right? So you should be up there by 11. Well, after having to make multiple stops to go buy a bunch of different things that I didn't know I was going to need to have, it was like 1 a.m., 1:30 when we got there, and I'd spent like $800. So I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. But no, it's fun stuff, and for me, I'm kind of the same way in the sense that like when the clock hit 2025, my life started to shift immensely. It's crazy. I've never saw my life change so fast.
Really? That was October for me. October was that.
So I was seeing a girl for a little while, and we both attend the same exact church. Well, in that church, there is a media team. I've been at this church for 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. Something's always told me, Nathan, you need to go get in that media team. You need to go get in that media team. But I'm not one to be like, hey, I want to join your media team. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
more
and some
or less,
people kind of like lock up when you say that too. Like, they're like, ooh, I don't know about
like,
that. He's
yeah.
too
People are a lot faster to put up a wall than they are to like lower down the ladder.
Yeah. And I'm like, if you like any position,
and Nathan loves ladders.
Yeah, Nathan's like,
yeah. So I'm like, invite me onto the ladder.
Not a wall guy.
Yeah. You invite me to the ladder, and then I'll start to climb. So sure enough, I worked an event at the church, and I got invited. I finally got invited, and I say finally. I don't mean finally as in like it was owed to me, but like I got invited.
Yeah. Like you got in.
Yeah. So
you're not
ever since I got in.
Yeah.
Boy, it's like Learn TV all over again for me.
Really?
And it's
like you're butting heads a lot, or in terms of like you're more creative now than you've ever been.
It's reignited me.
Really?
I'm like, oh man, now it's like, oh, I've missed you. And then I started doing different projects with that. Building sets. We just did a whole big 7-week-long Easter series where we were building sets, doing live action stuff, and I was on the floor filming this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god,
you're like back. You're
like this is what this feels like to me.
You're like, and boys, we're back.
Tensions at work were coming to a head, and I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know exactly what, but I knew something was going to happen. I go back July 2nd, but maybe we'll see. But I've been so busy with that. It's shown me like, okay, there is something in me that I left a long time ago that I now that I'm in this time of being away, I gotta find it. I gotta find it now, because if I don't want to go 5 years down the road. I'm 30 and I'm still sitting there looking for it, and I'm regretting it. You know, so I'm looking back at where did I go wrong? Where can I learn from it? What can I do? I used to not be that way, especially back in like high school and TV, which wouldn't surprise me if you didn't like me, because I was a guy that kind of felt like I know everything, and I had that head on my shoulders that was way bigger than my long arms. You know, it was bad. So that was a big problem of mine that I've really tried to humble myself for sure, because I don't want to get back in that spot. 2019
was that for me, because he had been doing this sort of with the M Fam. And us coming back.
I was doing like Discord, like Skype style Zoom podcasts, and they were cool. But I knew as soon as I started them, I don't like doing it like this online. I hated Zoom. I hated Discord. I hated trying to like video capture someone else, having to rely on my internet, having to rely on theirs.
It is a pain.
I hate it. This has become my favorite version because there's no internet signal required. We can. The only thing I don't like is that it's audio only, and it's not even that I don't like it. It's just that I really enjoyed the video aspect.
I do
of,
too.
like, being aware of the video aspect,
Yeah.
and that's coming down the line. Like we're going to try and work our way back to that.
Yeah.
But for right now, this has just been so comfortable and so much easier to adapt to.
Yeah.
That I've I've
I mean,
really
we're sitting on a
enjoyed
couch
these.
right now, man. This
Yeah.
before it was kind of like, I mean, the chairs were fine. Charlie has horrible chairs. Anyways.
Did you guys ever see any of the For Tori I'm Nathan thing? That
Yeah.
Okay, that was in a garage with
Really?
like a fold out table, and we were just trying to make the best of what we got.
Yeah.
And that
Sometimes
was,
it's like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when I came over to his house, and he told me kind of like what he was doing, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, do you want to come on sometime? I was like, sure. And we just started doing it, and then like it evolved. It was like what you were saying with the church group team. It awoke something in me. Like, I know that I want to do this and I want to make other things, but I mainly really want to keep doing this consistently because this is going to keep me on that path of like, okay, like I know I need to make something, but like I don't know exactly what I want to make today, but this is something I can dig my like teeth into and really like, go and have fun with it. And it slowly just grew from there. I mean, we streamed on Twitch, we, did YouTube events, we did like all kinds of stuff, and then when we kind of stopped for 11 months, we took like a break for like 11 months or so, like about almost a year. And we just, I don't know, like he was going through some stuff. I was also going through some stuff, and it like just was not a great time like to be able to do something. Plus like a lot of the equipment stopped working the way we were really using it. So it just gave me time to really think about like, but that whole time, like I was thinking like, all right, when are we going to get back to it? And I would ask him all the time. I was like, hey man, I would call him and be like, when are we going to do a podcast? And finally, like, December hits, I just said, fuck it. I was like, hey, man, listen, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. I'm going to pull my phone out, and we're just going to record a conversation. If you want to come over for that, you can. If not, I'm just going to sit in a room and talk to myself.
I've been telling him, I was very out of love with the podcast. I had no want to do it. And I told him, I was like, hey, man, anything you want to do, you can still upload it on the channel. Like, if you want to, like, continue the Shirts Off podcast name, whether I'm there or not, if I can't make an episode, that's whatever. Like, if you want to keep doing that and keep putting it on the same channel, like, here's all the information, here's the login, like, still do it there if you want. Or, like, call it Season 3. Call it whatever you want to do.
Because we had a built-in audience from Twitch, too, that was still very much, like...
integrated.
Yeah. So it felt like if I was going to do anything, I wanted it to be on the channel.
Speaking of which... Quick note, we might start needing to put the notifications back on the Discord. I forgot the Discord existed until this moment.
Well, we could do the Discord.
Anyway, sorry. That's inside baseball.
Yeah.
I forgot that. I was like, wow, I forgot we have a whole Discord server and everything for the podcast.
But, no, I mean, like, just that, knowing that, like, okay, like, I was going crazy. Like, I needed to make something,
right.
And me and Caitlin started dating before, like, kind of in the middle of, or, well, I guess towards the end of that long break. So she really didn't get to see what it was like when we were on Twitch, but I kept telling her, like, listen, like, we used to do this thing, and, like, I'm literally losing my mind because we're not doing it. So, like, I need to figure something out. So we figured out a schedule. We started recording pretty much, like, Mondays and Saturdays, if we do one. And just, like, I was like, we got to do something different. I don't want it to be just us sitting in a room talking to each other, because that's fun, but, like, we need to, like, have other elements come in, because we know a lot of interesting people. Sorry, Ted.
That's something that I didn't really think much of until recently. As a matter of fact, I've got 2 guests lined up already.
Yeah.
One of which I've done before, and another one I'm looking forward to.
And, like, I've always said on here, I will forever defend the mundane. Even, like, somebody just like the dude that's walking down the street, he has a story.
Yeah, everyone,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so, like,
we've done so few, even the podcasts we've done that I was like, might have been a weaker person. We definitely were able to have an interesting conversation anyway. Like,
I've got to be the weakest person you've had on.
No,
we're going for a while.
Not even a little bit.
We're going for a good bit.
Well, this season's been the only one that we really, for sure, like almost every episode have had like a new, different person on.
Right.
Or like maybe even like a second recurring character. But like for 300 plus episodes, it was just me and Creighton. I mean, like nothing, like, and occasionally a friend would be on with us, or we'd have someone on for
the chat
3 or 4
carried
times.
us a lot through that time, which is fine. Chat was great. We loved chat. But it's just
Thank you, chat.
Yeah, thank you, chat. It's just it got to a place where where this was like really fun and entertaining and different in the beginning. It would become. I think also for him, it became a lot of the same. And I was still having fun with chat. I was a big proponent of still doing it. So my
thing was, and it still is to an extent, but way less so. In the beginning, especially those first 150 to 200 episodes, there would be days where we would do 4 or 5 days in a row, especially during COVID, when he was getting off Food Line at 11, and my day was starting at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So he was getting off work at 11, and we were doing a podcast at midnight to 50 people. We'd have a lot of people in our live streams on Twitch. I had all my friends from the MFAM community, other organically found people through that thing. Through the podcast sub channel genre on Twitch.
I remember you guys were posting that stuff. I'd pop in from time to time.
Yeah, I remember when you would come in.
Yeah,
and then Charlie would look at me and be like, fuck it. I'm just kidding.
we were legit building, and still, I still have friends from the, not even related to MFAM that I met through, coming into the Shirts Off podcast chat on Twitch. I have made friends in the world like that. Know them, talk to them, communicate with them. They exist. I know them in real life still.
Yeah.
That was such a cool aspect, but all of it was a means to an end. For me, sitting and talking with Creighton 2, 3, 4 hours a night was us getting our 10,000 hours experience under our belt to become pro talkers, basically.
Yeah.
Because in my eyes, this wasn't JRE. This wasn't Theo Vaughn. This wasn't a professional podcast that's doing crazy numbers. This is us, doing stand up at the dive bars for a sandwich.
Yeah.
For free, to try and get good at it before we start advertising. And then, the annoying part about that I wish I could go back and slap myself some sense and be like, hey bro, it's that, but also try and build it. Look at all these things that blew up and became huge before they were pros.
Yeah.
Look at Captain Sparkles.
Yeah.
I remember watching Captain Sparkles on YouTube thinking he was the coolest YouTuber ever. No, it's because he was one of the 6 YouTubers out at all.
Yeah.
He was just pumping. He understood what the mission was. Put out content, it's going to get viewed, there's nothing else to watch.
Yeah.
I went back and watched a Captain Sparkles Hunger Games Minecraft video. He's literally okay, gonna run to this chest. Okay, gonna grab a bow and arrow. Okay, gonna try and shoot that guy. Oop, he's coming after me. I gotta run. I'm scared. I'm scared. Literally just saying what he's doing. I was like, this is fucking trash. I hate this. Why was I so into this thing? And I'm but it blew up and he got better as it went. And he's still one of the biggest YouTubers.
I love guys C Nanners was like that.
Yeah, bro. I'm so happy C Nanners, not to cut you off, not only came back, but that he knew what the mission was also.
Yeah.
He quit for a long time because he fell out of love with it. But when he came back, he got right back into the zone of what he was doing. It feels like old C Nanners.
And he addressed that too.
And he did, yeah. And I love that he addressing it is the thing. You don't want people to just think you're selling out by being yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what it would feel like if you came back and is he just being phony because he ran out of money or something? Because he's not. The crazy thing about YouTube is those videos are forever. He's still making money off those videos from fucking 14 years ago.
Yeah, I still go back.
I do.
I every once in a while I'll go back and listen to their Minecraft adventure.
The hidden videos.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's good.
So
Old prop hunt and everything else.
Yeah.
But T Martin, same way.
Yeah.
I love that guy. And seeing him grow up, he just got married. Just congratulations, Trevor.
Yeah.
You really feel like you live and know those people, even though you've never met them.
If you walk up and just meet them, they're like, bro, what's up, dog?
Yeah.
You know,
and they're like, oh my god,
and they're like, I don't know you, but you know me, and all right, let's get it. You know.
So all that is to say that I think we were doing both things right, and I just let it get to my head. When we stopped, because what we were doing live was fun, and there is a version of me that wants to get back to that, but there's a version of me that wants to keep doing this also. Yeah. So, I think that there's a healthy in between. I think there's, a version of, we sit down and do this podcast, with the Nathans and the Alims and the, whatever guests we have in the world. These stay offline, and then you and me eventually get back to where 2-3 times a week, we just hang out at 9 o'clock, meet up here, get in the studio, cut on the live stream for a couple hours, and also have that community build back
absolutely.
up.
I mean, all this we've been going through.
This is called production planning.
Yes,
literally.
Well, I know you're trying to do your thing, so I'm not trying to just take up your time and be like, oh, this is what we do, blah blah blah, push what we are, but I just feel like,
no one else gets it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
nobody
these
else
inside baseball
gets it,
conversations
and,
are good to have with the people that understand, like Cena.
I can't stress to you how much it is important it is to keep going. Because, make something. Even if you don't even fucking know what you're making, just make something.
You are hitting me right in the head right now, because, the Hill Brothers, we were bumping it out pretty good there for a while. We were pulling in views. Videos.
Pumping it out, pulling it in.
Dude, I'm telling you, we were making, there was back towards the end of last year, we were pumping out videos, and they were making like 50,000 views.
Damn.
I'm like, oh my God, like this is brand new. Like I've never saw this. And I saw my hard work paying off.
Yeah.
Some life stuff happened, and I let it get me out. And I was just so busy with you know what? I'm taking a break from this. I'm going to go do life stuff for a while.
But you know what that is?
You know what?
But you know what that is? That's me winning that poker tournament. You now know what you're capable of.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
you think the 50,000 is
huge.
going to be there when you come back. And the truth is you have to just keep,
Yeah, but now you know you can. Now you know, I'm not going to be this, Learn TV kid forever. I'm not going to be the, restrained to the 1,000 to 5,000 video viewership that I've done in the past. Bro, look what I am capable of. Look how much bigger that is than the stuff. Now you not only can you accomplish that, but what's to say you can't accomplish the next level of that exponential growth of 500,000 viewers, of a million viewers. You know what I mean?
I had people messaging me because when we joined, so with the Hill Brothers, I let the Hill Brothers be a super big experiment for me.
Yeah.
And I got into it. Me and my brother were like, okay, we're gonna. There's no fan podcast for Carolina out there anywhere. It's not something that's out there. Mm-hmm. People are looking for that because we now know some of the insiders. Yeah. So I can call up people that are inside the buildings and they can tell me behind the scenes, hey, this is what's going. This is so stupid. How in the world is a guy from little old South Carolina able to talk to a guy that's making multi-million dollars up there doing that?
I can't believe there wasn't already something like that in existence.
Oh, dude,
you know what I mean?
It shocked me. But we wanted to do it because, we were calling each other and we were talking on the phone because he's a UPS driver too. And we were talking on the phone and we were doing what we're doing on the phone naturally.
Yeah.
And we started talking about it.
We would sit at Learn TV.
Right.
For 3,
I remember hearing you guys' conversations.
At the beginning of our 20s, 3 years, 4 years out of high school.
Yeah.
Just still working on Learn TV because it was the fun job. That was we're making some money, but we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care that we're not making any money. We're having fun here, hanging out with each other, and still.
And we didn't have bills, really.
Yeah, we were definitely all still living at home, not worried about it.
That was making me itch. I was 17, seeing that paycheck. I'm like, God bless, I've got to do more. That's just kind of the way I am. But,
we would, but you have that understanding, and you sit there and. Excuse me. We would have these great conversations for 3. If Richie wasn't there, we weren't working. So, especially if it wasn't a shoot day, there's nothing to do in the studio.
Yeah.
We had it so spick and span. It took, if you were even halfway competent, and I remember days with you and me specifically, both would be there. Yeah. We would clean the studio in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Good. Nothing on the floor, nothing on the carpet floor. We'd fucking sweep it and vacuum it, and then sweep it and then vacuum it. We would double to make sure that there was nothing left. We were anally retentive about how clean we kept the studio because that was the thing we were assigned to do.
Yeah. So that was the one task,
and we were fucking good at it. And I hated him for how good he was also at it. So dumb. I wish I could go back and tell myself I was such an idiot.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall for some of those conversations because that really does feel like the.
That was the foundation of the Shirts Off podcast. Was you, me, Quentin sitting there talking about Star Wars, talking about fucking Marvel,
making jokes,
listening
to Woody and Wilcox some days.
Oh God, that was also the biggest inspiration I think for you and me specifically being a duo on a podcast. Was we would listen to Woody and Wilcox. And to be fair, in Chelsea, and for the longest time, we tried to have a third regular, and it be a girl. We went through 3 different people trying to get regular third person on the podcast as the main third co-host.
The longest people we had were Amanda and Melissa. Yeah, they were rock solid there for a minute,
and they were hilarious.
Yeah, they were fucking because they were very normal, quote unquote, people coming
dealing
into
with
the
us being
ridiculousness.
idiots, reacting and listening to us being morons.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you one thing. I didn't want to stay stuck in the Learn TV way, but I kind of, I felt like I knew everything there for a long while, until I got to the Hill Brothers 2 years ago, and we started doing it, and I'm like, okay, we're not only going to go do this because no one else is doing it, and we're going to see what's going to happen, but also let me research this thing because I want to make it big. I want to make this thing as big as possible. So let me sit back and be a student once again. And I started researching stuff, and I found little different things to do with your thumbnails and the way you tag stuff and the way you intro things and the way you title things. And I'm like, when I started changing this stuff up, that's when I saw the numbers start to pump. And I'm starting to take that, and I'm like, okay, now let me transfer this over, and that's where we got to a point where we were pulling 50,000. Like, what the flip are we doing?
Cena's giving me a bunch of tips. Every time he's here, he's like, you should do this, and you should, and then that way you'll get more views. And I'm like, yeah, I should. I do some stuff. I have changed some stuff up because of what he said.
Well, you got a lot going on.
We've got a lot going on.
House gets cleaner,
and also setup, we're limited by the technology. I mean, I do all this off my phone now, which is fine. We're gonna get like an iPad and
baby steps.
We're gonna get stuff together.
One of the biggest things that I have learned, seriously, one of the biggest things, and I think that's what's really helped us more than anything, because I definitely hadn't been to content, and I've tried to make that as good as possible. I really have. I spent a lot of money in the products that I have because I'm a guy that likes to have the best. I'm just,
I understand that.
I like to do that, and I'll spend a lot more money doing it, and probably wish I didn't, but it's okay. But make a video title and the thumbnail aesthetically pleasing. That'll bring in half your video. Right
Do
there.
you? So now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you? You talked a lot about Chapel Hill. Are you wanting to eventually like relocate there, or?
That is it's not on the top of my wish list, to put it that way. But there was a conversation that was had between me and one of the insider companies up there, Tar Heel Illustrated. They do a great job. They're partnered with Rivals, but they just got bought out by On3, On3 Recruits, and there was a talk about potentially doing something with them.
Yeah, like partnering up or something.
Now, legitimately, and this was the crazy thing. So I reached out. They posted out something one day on their Twitter saying, "Hey, we're looking for sponsors, and we're opening this up." They had different sponsors. They always shout them out. This, that, and the other thing. And I just said, "Bump it." From the official Hill Brothers Twitter account, I said, "Hey," I reached out to AJ of Andrew Jones of THI, and he's my guy. I love that dude.
Right.
But I reached out to him, and he's been in the business for 30 years, 40 years now.
Yeah.
Covering not only the ACC.
Now you said THI. What's that?
That's Tar Heel Illustrated.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's just like their little acronym.
Okay.
But so I reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, what are you looking for in a sponsor?" And he was like, "Well, what are you offering?" I'm like, "Well, we're a little, I don't, we only had like a couple of hundred subscribers at that point in time." So I'm like, "All right, whatever, just, I'm taking a shot in the dark." It's like, "Hey, we would like to do something with you. Maybe we could, cross promote and this, that, and the other thing." I'm thinking like, it'd really help us out, quite frankly, really a whole lot more, because they're like the tip top.
You were trying to say without saying, like, we can help each other out, when in reality it was more like, you can help us out a whole lot.
Yeah. So with insiders,
and you might have fun.
That was kind of my string I was pulling, because there was a viewership that was looking for fan podcasts, and insiders can't give a fan's perspective. They have to give a reporter's perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
And AJ's always talked about, I wish we kind of could give that, but we can't. We're understaffed.
So we need to have the
fans. Well, here's what he told me. He says, "I know who you are." I'm like, what? What do you mean you know who I am? He said, "Yeah, I get notifications on my phone about what you guys are doing." He says, I've kept in tune with you guys. You guys do good stuff." I'm like, what? Somebody knew us.
Yeah.
And not just somebody you were like outwardly interested in.
Somebody
as well,
that's in the blessed building talking to the people that I'm sitting there buying their jerseys on. Like, I want your connections, bro.
Yeah.
And he actually, when we were in Boston, he invited us up to the press conference with the team, and we unfortunately got the elevators mixed up. But I did meet Shane McMahon from the WWE.
That's
really that's cool.
His son plays for North Carolina, and he was standing right there next to me. I'm like, "Hi, Shane. I like you."
Did you ask him any wrestling questions? Like, hey, what was it like?
It was very much
Undertaker?
It's very much like you're cool. I like.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick because you're still pretty kind of big.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Was he also like aware and like listening to y'all stuff?
That'd be amazing.
But one of the parents of one of the wide receivers stopped
yeah.
us right before we got in our Uber to go back to the hotel in Boston. They're like, "Hey, we were walking up to the corner."
Yeah.
And they were at the corner already, so we were about 50 yards out.
Yeah.
And they started pointing at us. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, I looked at my brother, and I'm like, do you know? And he's like, I don't know. I said, are we about to get jumped? Is this what's about to happen here? You know? And sure, we walked up, and like, hey, you guys are the Hill Brothers, right? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what in the world? They're like, hey, like, we like your stuff. We're Vari Green's parents. I said, your whose parents? I said Vari Green. He was one of a true freshman, stud wide receiver. I'm like, you're Vari Green's parents? I said, yeah. I'm like, and you watch us? Oh yeah, dude. What'd you guys think of the game? I'm like, what? Can I talk to him? No, it was awesome. I mean, we actually went to a WWE event recently.
Really?
Took my nephew, my middle nephew, and he wanted to go. Big wrestling fan. So was I.
Yeah.
And sure enough, while we were in the line for the merchandise, we got, hey, North Carolina, what's up, Hill Brothers? I'm like, hi, dude. Like, it's the stupidest thing in the world, but I love it. That I've been recognized in Chapel Hill before. People have wanted to meet up with us. We had the guy that gave us the VIP tickets. It's really weird stuff, but it's awesome, you know.
Yeah.
And you never know walking up there, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was like, why not move there? Because it seems like you're very popular there. You know what I mean?
I would not do that.
Oh well, yeah.
That's the scary
there's that
part.
too.
The
There's
scary part is the
dark side.
Like our Shirts Off has never blown up to any real ridiculous number of any way, but. Even though that's true, people in this town recognize me just from his Facebook influence.
Yeah.
Just like random people, like, you do the show with the tall guy from Food Line, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I don't like this. I don't like walking around and people knowing me and I don't know them.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't fuck with it.
Yeah, it's
me.
brand new to me, man, and it's very like we now have some players starting to follow us, which is really
that's
cool.
good.
And it's like the dumbest thing in the world. And they're sharing our stuff, you know. But
I don't want to one up, and it's definitely not. But it has reminded me that something like this happened to me when Nick used to run Fortnite tournaments. You know, he would have a whole lobby of players come play, and he would get moderators. I was a mod in the chat. He would get us to administrate the tournament, and so we would each, say there's it's 100 players, so it's 50 duos. Everyone would be in charge of 5 or 10 teams.
Right.
So 5 teams, 10 people, 10 teams, 20 people. They would play their game out and then send us the scoreboard, and we would verify. So like the winner and the loser would have to send back the same score, or the winner would just send the score and the loser would say we lost, whatever. Like basically double confirmation, like yes, this is what happened, because it was a very honor system kind of situation.
Right.
And one day, a guy named Luke Kennard on Twitter sends me a message.
That's the Duke's
Hold
shooting
on.
guard.
Yeah. Guy named Luke Kennard sends me I'm thinking Kennard because I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that name looks familiar. And then I look and I'm like, I'm getting this through Fortnite first. The name was just Luke Kennard, like 78 or whatever.
Right.
Man, that looks like a familiar thing. And he sent the score. I was like, well, I need a picture. Everybody needs to send a picture. Can you send it like on Twitter or something? He was like, sure, what's your Twitter? And then Luke Kennard, verified user for the Detroit Pistons, sends me his fucking screenshot for his Fortnite.
Oh my god, dude, that is awesome.
The free entry MFAM Fortnite thing. And I was like, are you Luke Kennard? Like for the Detroit Pistons? And he was like, yeah, me and Nick follow each other on Instagram. We talk about, because Nick's from Detroit.
Yeah.
Or like from right outside Detroit.
Right.
And I was like, fucking cool, okay. And so and then we started chatting a little bit, and he was like, yeah, play Fortnite sometime. I never took him up on it, but it was cool that every once in a while I'll tweet something and just to see a like from Luke Kennard.
Yeah.
Still follow each other. I'm like, whoa, him and Brandon Bowen, who played for the Cardinals, both of them are big fans of Nick, and I became buddies with both of them through Twitter and Discord.
That
and
is
I was
awesome.
like, this is so weird, like knowing NFL players and fucking Detroit Pistons players.
Yeah, that is absolutely awesome.
And he is
Matter of
a
fact,
sweetheart.
for
Wonderful
him to be
dude.
a Duke guy and Duke, North Carolina, it's the rivalry there.
Yeah.
He's a bucket, man. That dude is awesome.
Yeah.
He is a legit shooter. I like him a lot. I like playing with him in the 2K games every once in a while. Yeah. So I mean, it's
But that's
different.
that's such a weird. For me, it's weird because like that's not what I'm there. It's not.
Yeah.
What, I'm not in the
Yeah,
gaming
yeah,
space
yeah.
to meet sports people, you know.
Yeah.
But it is like a cool parallel to like
Though-
you're in the sports space, meeting and like interacting with these sports people. That's like if
It's
for me
weird.
it was more like. For what's happening to you, it would be more like if like Dr. Lupo was like, "Hey man, I like the Shirts Off podcast." I'd be like, "What?" Like that's so
dude,
cool, you know.
it is fascinating to me when you see that kind of thing happen, and I'm like, I always wanted it to get to a point where we're obviously getting recognized, and,
Yeah.
and I'd get pissed, dude. I remember I'd be so mad. I've actually got it on my phone. I've got reports that I started building spreadsheets each day tracking the subscriber list. Like, and because there was one day we went from like 140 subscribers down to 136 in one day, and it pissed me off.
Yeah.
And that was like right there. All right,
yeah.
I'm done.
Yep.
And I started keeping spreadsheets. I'm like, every day, this will never happen again. And sure enough, from that day, I started taking it seriously, started really teaching myself some stuff and learning and getting in there, studying from people. And then we started keeping it, and it just moved and moved. And now we're sitting right now at like 1370.
Really,
Something like
1370?
Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty good.
And
Nick did that. Nick, he would like after years, like when he hit like some ridiculous like 70,000 subscribers on Twitch.
Yeah.
When he was like in the peak like war zone in the middle of COVID days.
Oh yeah.
You know, he was like telling he had been telling the community like man like late night like really late like 6 a.m. when he's been streaming for 18 hours. He'd be like Q&A, ask me anything about like all of it streaming, not just what we've done today, but like people would ask him like, you know, what little things do you do that help you like justify continuing at the trajectory you're going, or something along those, you know, however they'd word it. And he would go, well, for me early especially, you know, when I crossed like the first 100 subscribers, I started keeping track of how many I had every day.
Yeah.
And then it became too hard to do every day, so I did every week. And then once it got too hard to do every week, I did every month. And I kind of stuck with every month, and I've been doing every month. And I keep track with every month. And I talk to my dad about it. I talk to my friends about it. I'm like, what can I do to get this number? Look how fast I grew from this month to this month. How can I replicate that in 6 months? And blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's those little, like, micromanaging of your, you know, of your analytics, of what it is you're doing that is making those analytics grow like that. Those little tiny steps that you take are the things that end up paying off in dividends, you know, in the future.
Yeah. That was
Absolutely.
me when I got past like 1,000 followers on Facebook or something like that. I started kind of paying attention to what I would post and stuff.
Yeah.
So that way, you know, because that to me was going to translate to this eventually. You know what I mean? In one way or another. Like, and
Well, that's what the 10,000 hours was for me, us getting as many recording hours as we could in before really starting to focus. But now that I look back, what I should have been noticing and paying attention to was, why aren't we doing this more? And to be fair, a lot of it was our schedules were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, if we had just continued the 5-6 days a week schedule, who knows where we'd be because of how many.
Yeah.
But, again, that's more inside baseball shit.
Yeah,
Nathan's here. We don't need to talk about that.
Hey,
like-
you know me. I always like the good stuff
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
The thing it doesn't...
The live growth was the most growth we ever had, exponential. Like it was
Right.
so obvious the trajectory it was taking, but it was we were victims of circumstance. COVID gave us the opportunity to like justifyingly be streaming 5, 6, sometimes 7. There were some days, like some chunks where we went 20 days in a row streaming.
Yeah.
Like we would do 20 days in a row, 2 hours
Yeah.
recording a podcast, talking to a chat. Having the talking to the chat is cool. Like having the live discussion with them is cool, especially about like current events. Like right now, I can only imagine it'd be so fun talking about like we have a fucking American Pope from Chicago.
Yeah.
The shenanigans we could pull talking shit with the chat about that is so silly.
Yeah.
And it's fun stuff, but it's like it really only works confined to that. You know, it's one thing for like Weekend Update to make a joke and do like a comedy bit. That's their thing. For like a live podcast that isn't broadcast to millions. Like us, that like our engagement is the engagement of our chat, like the conversation we're having. Like you got to stay so relevant with whatever's going on. And
but
that was way easier for
the
me.
rewatchability.
It was really cool because we were so, like, the dichotomy of me and Creighton was so cool because I am on Twitter every day. I'm looking at all those things. Creighton doesn't see, like, he'll send me a movie trailer, like, a month after it's out, and I'm like, oh, sweetie. I've seen all these trailers. I've seen all the trailers. I've seen everything.
You probably deal with that too, to a certain
but it's
degree.
good because he would be
it's
asking.
like, sports is an ever changing.
Yeah.
Day by day, hour by hour.
Yeah.
Like
So
sometimes.
the thing with us, especially right now that you got transfer portal, which is basically free agency in the college world.
Yeah.
By the way, this is an idea. I'm keeping track of our church one right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's the...
What's that? Is that views or...
That's subscribers per day. At the end of day count.
Damn, you had a big jump back at the beginning of May.
Oh, yeah. We try to really push all kinds of stuff like that. But, so with the Hill Brothers, there's not any shelf life with what we do.
Really?
At all. Because, everything changes.
Yeah.
So the video that, the videos
Sorry,
that got like 50,000.
If it's not viewed after 3 days of upload, it's probably not getting viewed.
Yeah, and it's not relevant anymore because
yeah.
it's like whatever happened 3 days ago, like 5 other things have happened since.
Yeah,
then.
that's why like during like in-game season. So I mean, you got baseball going on right now, which nobody really covers at all. I don't know why. It's really fun because
baseball
North Carolina baseball is really
Because
good.
there's 180 games a year each team.
Yeah,
There's too much to keep up with.
North Carolina baseball is actually really good. They're 4th in the country right now, potentially trying to get back to the World Series. But anyway, like during football season is the big one. Football and basketball season. Basketball season, of course, because North Carolina basketball. That's just, that's just
absolutely.
The thing.
That's like the bread and butter.
Oh, yeah. But we are a basketball school, quote unquote. But then Bill Belichick decides to show up in Chapel Hill and start coaching football. But yeah, during the football season, you've got, we
said that with so much venom.
Oh, dude, it's great, but it's crazy to think that one of the greatest coaches of all time shows up in Chapel Hill on the college level and decides, hey, I'm going to coach North Carolina. What? What are you doing here? Like, how in the world? This doesn't make sense. 1 plus 1 equals potato.
Man showed up. And
dude,
I want to
that's
coach.
the planets aligning though for you. You got to look at. Sometimes you got to look at it kind of selfishly.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of thing that makes a small like. It's like if, before Stranger Things, somebody started talking about Hawkins, Indiana a lot.
Yep.
And, like, had a little show there. And, like, boom, all of a sudden, Hawkins, the name blows up.
Yep.
You have all these eyes on it. Now, a little radio show from Hawkins might blow up. Right now, you got this little show from Chapel Hill. Bill Belichick shows up. There's obviously...
The videos that have 50,000 views are because of him.
Yes. Like,
he shows up, and then it's just like...
Now
everyone wants to know.
Everybody. I've been on 2 podcasts over the last 2 weeks now. Mm-hmm. From an Ohio State podcast, wanting to talk about North Carolina, and then also a College Huddle, which is the group that we're in. It's over 115 of us college podcasts, small ones that have come together to create kind of like think of Barstool Sports in a sense, but for collegiate teams. And here we are, and we're getting, I'm on the main show. Like, tell us about Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm like, hey, I know about that.
I know everything about that.
Yeah, so it's so different. So with the sports thing, there's no shelf life.
Yeah.
A couple of things that we do have some shelf life, like some of the vlogs of some of the cool games.
Probably documentary stuff has more of a shelf life with that kind of deal.
Absolutely. But for the NL10 channel, it's different.
Yeah.
Because it's personal. And not only that, but for me, I'm using that channel to grow as a person. Because that's where I'm going to have the deep conversations about ownership and life. And,
You're documenting kind of like your own journey. And this is like you kind of putting a
like a
voice to
video
that.
memoir, maybe a little bit.
Have you ever watched the Jocko podcast?
Yes.
Okay,
I love
so
Jocko.
you know how Jocko talks about life and think that. That's exactly that
Gotcha.
kind of idea.
Jocko is the best, bro.
Yeah, I love Jocko.
I love Jocko. Do you know who we're talking about? Jocko?
No, I have
Willink?
no idea.
Jocko Willink?
No
Oh my god.
Is he
Awesome
the
dude.
one that goes around and just like talks to like is trying to get like 10,000 people?
No. That's Rob. I did his show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Rob's Reflections?
Yeah, I think
it's
you
his
told me.
Patreon. Rob 10K convert. He's trying to like over the course of a long time have 10,000 conversations with random people.
Oh, so that's not bad.
He's documenting it, like takes pictures with them.
Yeah,
and
I was the
cool.
very first. Our podcast was the very first one that he put on his Patreon.
That's pretty cool.
It was kind of neat for me, and I've only talked about it like twice ever, and I forget it even happened until it like pops up like this. I'm like, I did that. That was cool.
Him and the guy who like goes a day using a penny to like trade up to like something crazy.
Yeah.
Like those guys like really stick out to me because they're kind of doing something different from the whole like the whole vlogging thing. Not that vlogging in itself is bad. It's just it's such a saturated medium that like the ones that kind of put like a fun spin on it are the ones that kind of stick out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so and because I don't want to get it too far away, Jocko was a Navy SEAL. Excuse me.
Battle
He's been
of
on
Ramadi.
Huh?
Battle of Ramadi.
Battle of Ramadi. Yeah.
Oh, he was there.
Yes.
He was one of the. They were some of the first ground troop that unit Bruiser unit was in. That was his unit. Have you ever read his book Extreme Ownership?
No, I've
Oh my god.
You definitely know more about Jocko. Most of what I know
love him.
is from like JR.
Explain Jocko to me then. And,
Jocko is he is a commando. He'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He grew up as a kid, like he wasn't good in school, he doesn't that kind of thing. He knew he wanted to be a commando. He knew he wanted to be in the military. That's
Remember
what he
Small
wanted to do.
Soldiers?
Yeah.
Remember the bad guys?
Yeah.
He's like them if they were good.
So he's like Linux in Transformers 1.
He is.
Yeah, they actually, yeah.
He is a beefed up dude
Yeah.
that is very in touch with his masculinity, stoicism. He has an amazing head on his shoulders, and he's taken a lot of the things that
If you ever want to feel inspired, watch Good.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Now,
He
how
has
does this tie back around and connect with what you're doing? Like, what is he doing that connects to your...
With what he does and the way that he approaches each and every podcast, he's learning something. That's something about Jocko. He doesn't stop learning. Like Joe Rogan's, the entire Jerry experience has been fun times and learning things.
Yeah.
And learning things from a lot of brilliant people.
Yeah.
And he does it in his own way.
Yeah.
Jocko's very much the same way. And a lot of it is stuff that he's taken from these experiences, like being in the Battle of Ramadi, like, going through, and he also has a company called Echelon Front, where they go and they talk to different business owners and different businesses about leadership and ownership and how to get through things when you're in the middle of the battle. Because some of the stuff that they had to go through, Tony, you ever get a chance to read Extreme Ownership or listen to it audio-wise, it is an amazing book. It will blow you. You will learn so many things out of it. I could take that book piece by piece and go with it. But with him doing that, it's that with what Rogan does, a little bit of Theo Von has really it's piqued my
Theo's
interest.
really started turning more into the that learning thing. Like he's having more and more people where I'm like, whoa, Theo, you're having Mark Zuckerberg on your podcast?
Yeah.
That's wild. Like I know there's silly stuff to happen there, but there's also like Theo is the most underrated question asker of any interview I've seen.
Because he don't care.
It's not even there is the funny haha it's Theo Von, he will ask silly questions.
Yeah.
His philosophically minded questions are from a perspective I would never even think someone could ask a question. He will get to the weird angle where you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at right now, and ask it from that perspective I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
He will ask questions that just you would never think are even questions to ask, Danny McBride. Like a serious question to this funny actor.
I think a good example of Theo is when he did his Trump interview, and the first half of the interview is just him talking about his brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I listened to it. That's probably the first Theo Von podcast I've listened to, and then I was on him after that. But that one really put me on him because Trump did so many interviews, but none of them really talked about his family,
and who he is as a human being.
Being, like Theo did. You know what I mean? Theo approached it from a way different aspect because I didn't even know Trump had siblings. I never thought about it. You know what I mean?
That's why he doesn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
It's because his brother died.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Oh yeah, this happened in the '80s." I remember reading a newspaper or whatever about it, but hearing it from him bringing that out of Trump and talking about that experience because he did. I mean, there's not a lot of interviews where he talks about it because people just don't. They don't bring
strict
it up.
policy and everything.
Yeah.
And I like Patrick Bet David. I like listening to him.
Yes.
And the things
My
that he-
dad loves him.
Oh my
He sends me. I've been sent so many 4-hour videos that my dad's like, "You should listen to this." I'm like, "Bro."
I'll listen to him.
I can't
I'll
listen
listen
to 4
to. I'll pick up bits and pieces, especially of his motivational speaking. From Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey's got a lot of good things.
Dave Ramsey's one of my favorite Twitter follows.
dude,
I don't listen to any of his content, but I follow him on Twitter, and I like consuming his perspective through that.
Oh yeah.
Because at a certain my dad, when people try to put you on a new podcast, like, I feel like for a person that likes podcasts, I don't have time to listen to the stuff I already like, let alone the new shit you want me to like try and digest. So like it's easier when I can start following the people you're talking about, and I can get their perspective in like paragraph chunks. It's like at least I have an idea of what you're trying to show me. Like I'm definitely getting a decent little idea of what it is, like a snack version of what they're doing. And like Dave Ramsey's one of those guys where I'm like one of my favorite Twitter followers the last couple of years. Like a guy I don't know, his perspective is wild.
He has there's a video, and it's not a podcast, but it's a video of a motivational speech that he did, and it's called "The Power of Intentionality." That right there, I'll go back and listen to it many times.
So what's the end goal of this new YouTube that you're working on?
To learn as a human being, and literally use it as a platform to talk to people and to learn things. Because the idea is like, I say I'm 25 in kind of like an old sense, but I'm only 25. And I don't know everything. 18-year-old Nathan would tell you differently. 25-year-old Nathan would say, I got a lot of things to learn, and I'm a young pup in this game, and I better start learning some stuff. You know, on a day-to-day, because I want to be a better human. Each and every day, and be a better human not only for me but also the people around me. And I want to have a better life than my parents did. I don't say that in a negative way. I want to be able to give back to them while they're still here. And the people around me, my friends. I told Tori a long time ago, I said, if I see success, I want to take you with me, because like you've been good to me, you're a brother, and that's just what I want to do. And I want to take what little success I may be able to have. And I've even done it now. I've taken, friends on vacations with me just because like, hey, and you ain't gotta just come down. You ain't gotta pay for nothing. Just come hang out with me. Let's have a good time. Let's do this. This is something that we can all enjoy together, because I was very fortunate younger growing up around a bunch of, like, my parents were like this, and I had friends that would just take care of me. And that meant a lot to me. I'm like, you people didn't have to do any of this stuff, and yet you did. And I'm thankful enough to be able to experience that. Let me give that to somebody else. That's why, like, my time, call me up. I'm here. I got you. No problem. I'll give whatever little bit I can give. I'll do what I can, because that's just, it was given to me, and I'm going to reverse it right back out to those around me, whoever it may be.
I'm really glad. I mean, like, you coming on like this. I mean, I didn't know what you were up to. Like, in terms of like, what you were making stuff. I'd seen you and Tori's stuff on
this has been the least blindsided I've been on any of these podcasts. He doesn't tell me shit. I don't know who it is. I show up and it's like a person we're interviewing. I'm like, oh, it's Nathan. At least I know the person this time. Like we've had like 5 or 6 of these 20 where I would just literally was like, oh, you like raise dragonflies for a living? Cool. Like, no, I knew nothing about it. Literally nothing. That was a hyperbolistic version of. It's not
sorry
that.
to the guy who owned dragonflies.
That's not real. That's not real. But like, it's that level of like,
I bet it is.
Who the fuck is this? I don't know what we're talking about or who this is.
But
ridiculous.
That was part of like the hook initially for me, is like, okay, me and you are good at talking to people. Let's see how we do.
It works a lot better.
We don't know.
It works a lot better in those instances when Aleem is also here. Because it's hard for me to, like, carry the weight of being the only one there who doesn't know what's going on. When Aleem is there, the two of us can kind of bounce ideas back and forth, like, you know where I'm coming from? Like, not knowing. He's like, yeah, I don't know either, so let's attack it from here.
The cool thing is, me and Liam actually work together, so, I mean, he knows his dude.
Yeah. I love Aleem. Me and him, like, his perspective and his ability to, like, what's the word? Sync up with your perspective quickly. Me and him both are really good at syncing up with each other's perspective and what we're trying to get out of the person. Be it Creighton, be it the other guest, each other. Like, we are really good at that part of the like interview process. And it is so much harder doing those interviews if he's not here for me. Like, when I have no clue who the person is and what they do. When he's there, it's so much easier to like start dissecting. It's like having that extra. It's just an extra pair of hands in the lab. It's like if you have to fucking build a puzzle, like 4 hands are better than 2. It's literally that, and we're putting the pieces of the puzzle together all at the same time.
And that's another thing for me is like you put me on camera, I'm fine, but in like personal conversations, I'm horrible at it. And like I've really tried to work on that, and that's another thing that this is going to allow me to do. Now I've been doing a couple of these by myself to kind of get myself in the routine, just to kind of feel it out to see how this thing is. But I already have my first two. I'm looking forward to them.
Yeah.
You know? And I say it's first two. I've done the podcast before, and I was interviewing people. Tori had been on a couple times. My brother had been on there. My buddy. And I didn't really like the idea of where it was going to. And then I interviewed my preacher, and everything changed. At that point, I'm like, there's a different kind of perspective that I want to flip. And we were just talking about, some stuff that had been going on over in Israel. He had been over there, getting ready to go back. And,
he's getting ready to go back now?
Yeah, he's getting ready to go back in March. He'll be back in March. And I thought about going myself. But, we had that conversation. I'm like, okay, there's a different perspective of this that I can go at it. And I can not only do it with people, but I can do it by myself too. And I want to be able to have that personable, because I'm a personable guy. There's a lot of things that go through this noodle. A lot of them weird, but they go through, and I am very much a person of self-reflection. I think I get that from my dad. My dad's very much like that. He's 40 years older than me. So I grew up with somebody that has been a really, literally 40 years older than me. His birthday is 7 days before mine.
Turned 40, boom, kid.
Boom, that's it. Wow. That's how we do it. And I was his only one. But I have I have an older brother. That's
on your mom's side?
On my mom's side. Okay. He's 11 years older than me. Everybody I grew up with.
Wow. Well, you were the baby in the room forever.
The experience I've been able to grow up with. And that's another thing. Like, I've been able to grow up with a lot of experience, and that's helped me, be able to do the things that I'm doing now. It's taken some of that experience. Some of that stuff is just like, hey, I know I don't need to consume that.
Yeah.
But, I've been able to take a lot of that experience, take it with me, learn different things, and now I'm trying to apply it. And that's where I'm at, especially in this podcast on my own. And not only that, but I'm doing other, like today I put up I was down at the beach for a few days back before my birthday. And I'm like, I'm going to Pop Stroke. This place. It's a little it's a putt-putt place / restaurant that Tiger Woods co-owns.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, it's that new big gangster, like the cool putt-putt thing.
It is awesome. And I recorded my first experience there and had a great time. And I posted today. I'm like, shoot, why not? And doing stuff like that. Like, I posted when I bought that truck out there. Just like,
I remember that, because I was like, damn, he got a nice truck.
Dude, that is my dream truck. I've always wanted that thing. I've been eyeing it up since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Now I got the sucker. And
that was the oldest thing you've ever said.
Oh, dude.
Knee-high to a grasshopper is some old.
Well, he just said he grew up with old men.
I know, but it's just it doesn't come out a lot. He doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when it comes out, it is like
it's
Jersey Boys.
It's like an old man is sitting here talking.
I'll put on some.
Man, I was knee-high to a grasshopper when I wanted that truck.
Oh, dude, yeah, 100%.
That was awesome.
So yeah, doing stuff like that. I like doing that. And not only that, but it's therapeutic in a sense for me to be able to get some of these ideas that are in my mind, get them out, and maybe even get a conversation started. And that's really the big thing, is get a conversation started. If I'm able, and I said this in the last one that I did, or two before then, if I'm able to say something that activates something in your brain, like, I've been saying how I've been kind of in this slump, and a couple of things happen, and it's like, okay, something's been activated in me. If I'm able to say something just by the stuff around through my head that activates you and gets you getting and going after whatever it is you want to go after in your life, I feel great. And a buddy of mine, my buddy Steven, as a matter of fact, he commented on not the last podcast I did, not to take ownership, but the We're All in the Motions Why. That was the podcast name. Time's running, time's ticking, and we're all stuck in the motions. Why?
Yeah.
And it was, the whole precipice was like, we get stuck
basically
in
live therapy.
these mundane cycles, and time's ticking, and our lives are ticking away, and we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
You're never going to be as young as you just were.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I said that, I'm like, what are the things that we can do to identify, to go after? What is that thing in the back of your mind that you really want to do, but you kind of keep putting it off, that you want to go after? That thought process. And he commented, and he was like, dude, I've been in that cycle for a while, and I really got to thinking about it. I'm like, dude, go after it, get after it, do whatever it is that you want to do, go do that thing.
You said, go and get it.
That's it. There you go. And that's kind of my mindset of it, because it helps me, because I'm talking to me. When I do a podcast, I'm talking to me.
Yeah.
And maybe it helps somebody else.
I really struggled with the whole talking to yourself like kind of thing.
No, see, that's the thing I've mastered. Now, talking to others, I can't do.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm horrible at it.
I always feel like I need somebody to bounce off of because, like, otherwise, like, I kind of like. I guess because of the ADHD in me, I just ramble. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, I do
it's
too.
like a
You
flow
you
of
watch 5
consciousness.
seconds of what I do. It's rambling
Yeah.
101.
But I mean,
He also doesn't take advice. You have to like really beat him to death with the advice.
yeah.
For like
But
2
that's
years.
how we bounce back and forth.
Right,
It's
right.
like he's coming at me, and I'm like, God, I know I'm right though. Like,
And then it takes him 2 years, and finally he's like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You were right.
but like 98% of the time, I'm usually right.
Oh, they're listen to him. Listen to him go.
Look, Caitlin's our executive producer. Just giving me
Yeah,
that.
both of us are
Yeah.
giving Creighton the like you're
All right, so
silly
like
for that.
85% of the time. You
I'll
know.
give you a good 30.
I was gonna say 30. I could really on a good day 35, maybe 40% of the time he's right.
Then I'm wrong.
Hey, Extreme Ownership, Jocko Willink, great book. Great.
yeah, you need that.
yeah.
You need some shit
Yeah,
like that.
see, Charlie, it would help a lot. You know, for you.
Oh man.
I hate you.
Yeah, Nathan was looking at Charlie when he said that, even though he said my name.
Right.
That's exactly what happened.
Fucking
This is
hate
why
you.
we need cameras.
The hate's transferring from me to you right now.
Yeah,
in this moment.
bro.
Yeah.
In this moment, it's transferring.
Yeah, it's okay though. Like, I'm here for it. You know what I mean?
Isn't it silly? Isn't that shit silly?
What?
Like,
What?
like, there have been times in my relationships with both of you where I like hated the other guy. like
You sound like Bruce Banner talking about the Hulk. I hate
right?
the other guy.
I hate that. I hate the other guy. But it really, like, it is funny because like not only one or the three of us sitting here having this conversation, like already to that guy would never happen. Like that is the whole like personal growth shit that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is like getting to that point where you have the awkward conversation, you like let the feelings out, you say like, hey, fucking I was retarded. I don't know why I thought this, but I did, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And here we are. And then, you throw out a fucking 2-hour fun shit-talking podcast, the next day, and, like, it gets to me. Before we started Shirts Off Podcast, I fucking hated Creighton. Like, we had gotten to a point in our relationship, like, as friends, where, like, he
like
had
a
done
good
some shit.
18 months, we were out of each other's lives.
Totally. Like, for a year and a half, didn't talk to him at all. Didn't want to talk to him. Didn't ever want to see him again. Like, and we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
like why?
We've talked about before.
Yeah, me and him, but like
Yeah.
we're not recording why. Until a much later date, maybe if we ever.
We should
do.
document it. Like Nathan, you could do our documentary.
No.
about
Hold on.
friendship.
Another time. We'll get to that later. But what I'm saying right now is that sometimes you almost need those things to happen. Those like cathartic epiphany moments to realize like, oh, me and this guy who I've been at odds with, who I was friends with, we could partner and do something, and then boom, here we are like 350 episodes later.
Yeah, 6 years later.
Yeah, 6 years, 350 episodes later of a show we've been doing.
Yeah.
Like who knows where this is all going to go with the three of us. Like knowing you, knowing us, we're all in such close proximity. It's almost it's like when you hear these you hear stories about comedians or at least I do. I listen to all the fucking comedy podcasts. Like Big J. Okerson, he came up in like almost exclusively like black clubs. This big white dude. And like because of that, he's friends with all the black comedians, like all the big black comedians, except Dave Chappelle for some reason. He's like
Him and
Dave
Chappelle
Chappelle
got
always
real
scares me. He's never been my friend, and he won't do it. Or Chris Rock. Like there's one or two where he's always like, they never give me the time of day, and it makes me sad.
Well, already doing this, I mean, like.
But what I mean
Alejandro,
is,
for
not
instance,
to
sorry,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off. Real fast, I just want to finish that thought. To say, all that is to say, like, you start off in an area, and you become acclimated to working with and collaborating with all the people of that area.
Right.
And, like, with him, it's not so much geographic as it is audience, like, there's like a pooling of an audience that he is good with, and that is the audience that most black comedians are good with.
Right.
Like for us, geographically, we are connected, and we all know each other, and we come from the same like beginnings of production.
Yeah.
And so like, I totally see us doing stuff in the even if it's just sitting on the couch talking shit like this.
Yeah.
That's all it can be, and that'll
Absolutely,
be
dude.
so fun for me.
I'm 100% like I'm getting a little bit more open now than I have, and I'm tapping back into it again.
Yeah.
And really tapping back into it, and I'm enjoying it.
It's just like with Alejandro, like without this I guess, growth spur of the podcast, we wouldn't have gotten some of the people that are in our community now trying to work and do different things. Now, we may not agree with every single thing that person is doing or wants to do, but we definitely want to support.
You can't agree with everything. That
yeah.
Talking to
but you
want you have to be able to disagree and constructively disagree.
But it's all about building community and wanting to support other content creators out there, because I mean it feeds, it's a loop, it feeds into each other. A rising tide lifts all boats.
There you go. And I have to we one of the things that we wanted to do back during the football season was we had contacts with a bunch of other collegiate podcasters, and everybody that we had on our schedule that we were going to be facing were like, let's do a scouting report. Let's bring them on.
Yeah.
That introduced their audience to us to them, and we
builds like a spider web of all these similar shows.
There you go.
And who you can figure out who you like.
A lot of people kind of like some of the viewership from, especially. And one of the cool things that we like to do, so we get in there, we talk about, okay, what's your team like? What can we expect? What offensively, defensively, what's this thing, special teams? But also one of the cool things that we like to ask is, collegiate sports is a whole lot different than pro sports in the sense of the community that follows it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we wanted to
way
do
more
is,
diehard.
Oh, yeah, way more. And some of the cool stuff that they do specific to their team and their community. So every time we would have one on, the last question of the show, of the scouting report, we put it out a couple days before our preview and prediction. We would ask them, hey, what is something super cool that happens at your guys' stadium that nobody else really knows about? And some of the weird things
some of the weirdest little things.
Like the Charlotte 49ers up here, the University of Charlotte. One of the things that they do up there is at one of their traditions, weirdest thing in the world. So they're the 49ers, so they're miners, right? And one of the things that they do is they have a pickaxe, a really big pickaxe that they have cut notches out of, and they put shot glasses in it, and they take shots out of it.
Hell yeah!
And they do that at a bus it's an old bus, but they've went in there and renovated it and turned it into this party thing.
Yeah,
and it's a spot. Minnesota, one of the things that they do out there is they have this massive festival where they bring in tanker trucks.
Yeah.
Like gasoline tanker trucks filled with milk. And they just drink milk like it's going out, like it is.
Like it's
it
the
is
last
milk on tap, bro. I'm like, milk on tap.
That's insane.
Oh,
is it cold?
I think so. I mean, it's Minnesota.
The first game at Charlotte FC and you learned this as a fan.
Yeah.
The first game they ever had at Charlotte FC when the MLS started back in 2022 or 2021. When they went to sing the national anthem, the mic cut out after oh say can you see by the dawn's early, and then it cuts off, the mic cut off, and then the crowd picked up and sang the rest of the song.
Oh, that's
so now
awesome.
every time every single game, they sing the first line and then the whole crowd sings the rest. Every single game.
See stuff like that.
FC.
Stuff you don't see every day. So
Yeah.
We talked about us, what we do, and things like that, and you get to see that kind of thing, and then through that, it created a community. People loved it. People from our fan base was enjoying stuff that they did, vice versa. So we have people from all over the place coming in with us, our guys going in with them, and just creating that sense of community. And you get to learn some stuff, too, about some really cool places. And not only that, but we've actually talked about, I talked about going up there to Minnesota, seeing a game with those guys. I got invited by the Coastal guys to come down. I was actually just down there, and I did a little thing. And they told me to come back down there. As a matter of fact, they're doing free concessions this year.
Really?
Yeah, Coastal Carolina's doing free concessions.
Coastal Carolina's doing free concessions. It's awesome. I'm like, why do you plan on managing? I'm wanting to see how this thing's going to
Even
go.
beer too.
I don't know.
Probably not beer.
Probably.
Well, I think it's like one. So you get one. I saw this too.
Yeah.
Everybody gets meal vouchers for that you turn in.
Yeah.
Like you get them when you enter. Like when you walk through security or something.
When are we going to a Coastal game?
Oh, dude, I've already set an eyeball on it, man.
So is that every sport or
As far as I know, they're starting it for football season, and I'm going to see how it goes, and then
all right.
Maybe
so when are we going to see some Coastal football?
Well, it's not. So again, it's not totally free. It's the first one's free. So
Yeah, that's
you get like a
still
free
better
drink,
than,
free
like,
food. Yeah, it's way better. I mean, there'll be plenty of people that like still eat and still start spending money.
I mean, think about it, man. You spend a good bit of money on a ticket, then you gotta go pay like $30 to get.
Unless you're
it makes sense. I mean, it kind of like reminds me of the medieval times because you know it's like what a $45 ticket or something like that now, but like that pays for your meal, that pays for your
everything,
ticket. I mean, like it's a blanket.
All expenses paid once you've paid. Unless you go to the food
I mean, that might be the way.
People in the seats, too.
Yeah, that might be the way to go. I mean, for like
no,
not
the
just
Panthers
for
are gonna have to do that.
But that's a lot
year,
of like team management too.
At the beginning of the Panthers season last year, just the NFL season last year, we were looking at tickets because a lot of the guys at our like local poker game wanted to go to the Cowboys game. You know, that's like the big game that everyone here goes because like no one here's a Panther fan; they're all Cowboys fans or Steeler fans. But the Steelers don't play them regular season.
I'm a Panthers fan.
I'm a Rams fan, but I root for the Panthers.
Yeah, and so the Cowboys, all the Cowboys from around here, you know, they want to go see a Cowboy game, so they're looking at it ahead of time, trying to find seats. Dude, there were Carolina Panther tickets. For $7 last year.
Yeah.
In the bottom bowl.
Yeah.
The bottom bowl.
Yeah, they're bad.
They can't get rid of them, man.
We looked at season tickets. We looked at season box tickets. We could have gotten. We almost did. We almost did this just to watch the Cowboys game. Like the people in our poker community.
Yeah.
For $10,000.
Yeah.
You could get 20 season box tickets at the fucking Carolina Panther Stadium.
For $10,000?
For $10,000. However many regular season games, what's that? 7,
so what 16? Is that, like, average
17?
out to?
Same as MLS, I think? 17? Or
well, there's 17 games that play, but they're not.
Are they all regular season?
It's somewhere. It's all regular season, but you got 17 that's home and away. The whole season is 17 games.
Oh, okay. So you're probably getting 8 games for that. We were thinking just get 10 of us to throw in $1,000 apiece, and it's worth that for box tickets to the one game we want to see them play the Cowboys. Yeah. I'm not even a Cowboys fan, but I would have gone with them just because they're all fans.
Yeah. Right. Well, and also the experience of being in a box
seat at a fucking NFL stadium would be sick.
I gotta say, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I would totally want to do that. My buddy got to go see the Braves. He got invited. Oh, man. Because he's like he plays at like casinos and shit. He's a big gambler, and he's like 7-star Diamond Elite plus 1,000, whatever the fuck. The like maximum, whatever the max tier gambler like thing is.
Yeah.
Wait, there's rankings for gamblers?
Yeah. Well, in casinos for how much money you spend and cycle through the casino. So, like it's like a status card. Like I'm a gold member at Caesars, which is like the first level. Like I'm nothing. Yeah. Right. I get my meals vouched. Like every once in a while, I get meals for free, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But these guys here, they get free rooms. Like they can show up like on a Friday, Saturday, and just stay in the hotel casino for free.
Damn,
that's awesome.
But the casino bought a box, and so they like called up. They're like, "Hey, we got like 7 empty seats. How many you want for the Braves game, like in Atlanta?" And he was like, fucking however many you can get me, and we're leaving. They were at the Myrtle Beach, and they just fucking booked it to Atlanta. Just left, started driving immediately. He's been a Braves fan his whole life. So he was like, this is the coolest shit ever. And he said, dude, it was the best like sporting day, and they won. So like it was just like this unbelievable day.
That was like the last FC game we went to. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, you did. But the VIP section in North Carolina, it's called the Blue Zone.
Yeah,
and it's a specialized spot. But you go in there, it's got a buffet, free buffet. You can get drinks, whatever. The whole thing is free. You can sit inside at chairs, sofas, all that good jazz. Yeah. You never know who executive guy is going to be walking through. Yeah. You know, it could be AD, Bubba Cunningham, whoever. You know,
or
but then you can go outside.
Shane McMahon.
That has happened because typically that's where he will sit, is up there in those areas, and you never know who you might run into. Yeah. And a lot of times people buy seats over there because you can network. You know, you can sit outside and enjoy the game if you want to, or you can sit inside, still watch the game from inside, having free food. You got sofas and chairs and all kinds of little deals.
What's the hockey team in Charleston? Do you know?
In Charleston?
Yeah, I can't remember their name. It's like the Tornadoes or something. Bill Murray.
I swear to God, I was 2 seconds away from saying like it's the Tornadoes.
Bill Murray owns that team. If you go to the games at home, he's almost always there, and he just sits in the crowd like a normal person. And like he basically goes like, as long as it's a timeout I don't care if people come and talk to me, but if the game is happening, I want to see it, so don't talk to me. So there's just this line of people, and the whole game, and sometimes if the line's ridiculous, he's just like, fuck it, we're going to watch the game and take pictures together at the same time. And so like there'll be this giant line, and he is super inviting and super friendly, and he'll like let people walk up and do pictures, but that's at the game. There's like parks all over Charleston, and there are so many of these stories that it's like almost now confirmed as fact, but for a long time before like the internet, it was like a joke because he's been in Charleston like his whole adult career. He will walk around parks, walk up behind a stranger, put his hands over your eyes and say, "Guess who?" And then you'll turn and see that it's Bill Murray, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And he just goes, "No one's ever going to believe you." And he just walks away. and it's been corroborated so many times by so many different people that, like, now people will interview Bill Murray and be like, "Hey, so people have said that this happens." And he'll just go, "No, that doesn't happen." And then he'll look at the camera and just kind of grin, and then he'll just be really straight-faced and continue the interview.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
That
like,
is awesome.
It's the best dumb practical joke ever. And he's also, like, he goes to, like, a lot of North Carolina games and a lot of, like, other South Carolina sports-based games. Because he has a stake in one team, and I think he has, like, pieces of other teams.
Yeah.
So, like, he's just he's been a sports nerd his whole life. Like, it's
See, there's another
so
thing
funny.
that's like, there's a lot of people that are like that up in North Carolina, and like Roy Williams, who's our national champion, one of our famous coaches of all time, he's like that. He's at every single North Carolina basketball game, and a lot of times he's at the baseball, he's at the field hockey, he's at, we win national championships on a lot of things, and he's always there. And but also, there is a restaurant, it's the famous ones, I think it's the oldest restaurant on Franklin Street. It's 100 years old. They just celebrated their 100th year 2 years ago, so it's 102 now. But they have a spot where it was a pharmacy, and think of like, remember Ellie's store in Andy Griffith's show? Where you could go in there, you get your drugs, but also get your ice cream and a hamburger and things. Well, there's stuff like that, it's there. And sure enough, there's pictures on the wall, people have been in there, famous people, all that good stuff. Yeah. But also, there's a rule there. Once you come in, it's like a convenience store as soon as you walk in, but then there's the dining portion and there's the pharmacy portion. It's 100. It's absolutely original to when it was first built. When you go up to be seated, there's a rule. If you see anybody, player, a coach, anything, sitting down eating, you cannot bother them until they're done with their meal and they're back on this side.
Like moving around, obviously trying to talk to people.
Right, because like they deserve to be able to enjoy their meal just like you.
I like that.
I like
that.
I love that.
Cool.
I
That's
love
awesome.
that. That's awesome.
Well, on that note, we should probably wrap because it has been like 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Dude,
I've enjoyed the conversation.
This has been awesome.
Been a good one.
This has been a very quick 2 hours.
Yes. That's the way. Like I think the last 2 or 3 have been like that. Like, and that's what I've really loved about the interview format. It's just, you get rolling with somebody, and dude, anytime you want to come back on, the door's open. Like
y'all send me an invite out, and we will make it happen. Dude.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But I really do want to keep in touch with what's going on. And I'm probably going to be peeking in on your channel, see what you've been up to. Excuse me. Probably do some cross promotional stuff. Be like,
send me some pointers. Dude.
Yes,
I need your input.
Dude, I have none. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot with a phone and who knows how to hit record, and that's about it.
Well, you've done a good job, I think.
Yeah. Well,
the last one we recorded that with Creighton's friend Crystal. He fucking just tricked me in the middle and paused. We've never paused an episode. I never knew we could pause an episode in the recording. He was always like, "No, we can't." He would always say we need to let it run. Yeah. You can't stop it because I'll have to make a new file. Yeah. No, you can just pause it and continue the same record. He's just lying. Yeah. He's gaslighting me for months.
It keeps you on edge, man.
Yeah, I like doing my shit raw. You know what I mean? I don't pull out. Is what I'm getting at in terms of podcasting. How dare you guys put your minds in the gutter?
I don't know what you're talking about.
But anyways, it's the best. You know what I mean? And you don't end up with a pregnant Nathan afterwards. So
2 hours, 6 minutes.
2 hours, 6 minutes. Anyways, thank you for coming on. Go ahead and plug whatever you want to.
Plug all the shit.
Yeah, all the shit. Where can people find you at?
Well,
this camera.
this camera. Like
you get a car. You get a car.
I love it. I've been Nathan. I have been. I've been on a journey here for the last little bit here.
I'm Nathan Lowry, and for Tori Clyburn.
And for Tori, I'm Nathan. Yeah. I love that dude.
Yeah,
but
we gotta have him on.
On Twitter, Hill Brothers, I am the admin for that page. So if you're tweeting at the Hill Brothers, you're tweeting at me.
Okay. And that'll be important. I can tag you in that. Because there's been a lot of people that don't have Twitter when I've been posting these on Twitter. So.
Yes. You can hit me there. You can also, I cross-promote stuff over there with that and the NL10 podcast. You can find me at NL10 Pod on YouTube, and also at the Hill Brothers on YouTube as well. We're also on Facebook, on Instagram, Hill Brothers, that is. So it's Hill Brothers and all that stuff. HEEL space Brothers, you can spell that. And that's me. That's what I do.
All right. Well, thank you, Nathan, so much for coming on. Thank you for Charlie for being here. Ted, where's he at?
He's right there.
He's right there.
Oh, right
damn,
next to
he's
you.
looking.
Yeah, he wasn't just like pointing at the mirror by himself.
Listen, Ted, as always, your emotional support means the world to this podcast.
He fought for popcorn for half of it.
He did
Yeah, half
fight
of this
for
podcast was me.
And he was like
fighting
right in
Ted
the
for 5
mic, so like it's just gonna be nice to
If you
hear.
hear some
like,
sniffles, you know what happened.
All right, thank you everybody for listening. If you like what you've heard here and you want to hear more, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the socials and on YouTube. Hit that notification bell not to miss an episode.
We love you.